Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's corporate cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp's software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/easy. Ramp.com/easy. RAMP.com/easy.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members of FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
People who believe that theft from those who have to give to those who refuse to work is only fair. Situational morality can't be tolerated. The good in all of us must sharpen the good in others. As the Bible says, iron sharpens iron. If not, we'll end up with love is love, which means people should be married to dogs. I think my understanding is that's actually too late. Our law enforcement would be neglecting to prosecute obvious crimes. But certain areas, I think we're too late there too. And men beating up on women in athletic contests because we don't want to offend those who think it's okay. Yeah, I hate to tell you, but guess what? Too late there too. We're going to go to that later in the show. So the question is, how do we stop it? How do we take a stand? It starts in your community. It starts in your church. It really starts at your dinner table. It starts sitting around having a discussion, expanding the discussion while you and a bunch of friends maybe open a bottle of whiskey. Hey, guess what? We're going to do just that on this episode of Implicit Bias. We'll expose some of those who are trying to get their situational morality to make you do something you may not want to do. We will open our weekly whiskey. It is a Wyoming whiskey, 88 proof small batch bourbon whiskey, 5 years old, from our weekly whiskey partner, Champagne's Market in the Oil Center. We will introduce you to the crew in the Top Secret podcast layer when we come back, right here on Implicit Bias. News Talk 96.5 KB.
William S. Nicole Jewelry has been serving the Acadiana area for over 40 years now. Loose diamonds, engagement rings, wedding sets, the most extensive in-store selection Acadiana has to offer. Waterford Crystal, Swarovski Crystal, and a complete Pandora Jewelry shop right on the showroom floor. In-house jewelry repairs, and a friendly, knowledgeable staff to assist you. When you want bigger, better diamonds for less, when you want quality merchandise at affordable prices, shop local. Shop William S. Nicole Jewelry, 3802 Johnson Street, Lafayette.
Attention Acadiana, have you been to the Rustic Renegade? Acadiana's only true men's emporium. The Rustic Renegade has it all. Special items for that man cave, special coffee blends, unique gifts and grooming items, and best of all, Acadiana's only simulated range where you can shoot not only targets, but you can shoot scenarios. Why spend a fortune on ammunition? You can become better at what you like to do. At the Rustic Renegade, knives, guns, accessories, and the experts to handle it all. That's the Rustic Renegade, 2842 northeast of Angelin Thruway.
Men want to look like men. That means when it's time for a fresh cut, men go where men go. All American Barbering. Licensed barber Nick Duplashan and the staff at All American Barbering do it right. From old school haircuts to straight razor shaves to beard trim and shaping. Even boys look like men after a cut from All American Barbering. A veteran-owned business, All American Barbering is located in Broussard at 807 Albertsons Parkway, Suite B. Schedule your appointment to look like a man at their website, allamericanbarbering.com. Remember, men, when you want to look like a man, go to Broussard. Go to All American Barbering.
Anderson Pest Control is your one-stop shop for residential, commercial, and termite control. We're a Louisiana company with Louisiana hospitality that has the knowledge and expertise to handle all your pest control needs. Anderson Pest Control, we wouldn't put technicians in your house that we wouldn't put in ours.
Way down here in the Bayou State, critters come in every single size and shape. Pick up the phone, don't hesitate. Call Anderson Pest Control today.
College represents wonderful opportunities for parents and students. It also represents time and money. But what's the probability of employment after graduation? What's the expected salary? Where will they need to live? With a PhD in educational psychology and 10 years academic advising experience, Dr. T. Scott Smith can help. Dr. Smith can project future wages, geographical need, and overall employability of a degree from your proposed school and major. For an evaluation, go to strategy365consulting.com. Make your college investment worth it. Contact Dr. T. Scott Smith, www.strategy365consulting.com.
Use your implicit bias. Mention implicit bias when you call Luxury Limo and save 20% off of your booking. Don't forget, mention implicit bias and save 20% off your booking with Luxury Limo of Lafayette. Welcome into our second segment of Implicit Bias. We are presented to you by the Rustic Renegade, 2842 Northeast Evangeline Thruway. I am your host, Cavan Bordelon. So as I mentioned in the monologue, we have an implicit bias virgin in the top secret podcast lair this week. We're going to introduce you to the crew starting now. We're going to bring that one out first. He is to my right. He is in for Mike Trammell. He is actually Mike Trammell of Luxury Limo of Lafayette. Mike the Wheel Trammell, which is his nickname, which means we're going to have to get this man a nickname. He is Stacy Stokes. Stacy, it is a pleasure to have you in here for Implicit Bias this week.
It's a pleasure meeting you guys. It's a absolute pleasure. Just a pleasure. And
we also have from the Rustic Renegade, 2842 Northeast Evangeline Thruway, Acadiana's greatest gunsmith. We have Mr. Justin Richard, and I didn't call him Robichaux as a joke. I called him Richard because he is the man with the plan. Let me tell you, I actually brought some guns to Justin myself. To tell you how much I trust Justin, they weren't mine, they were my father-in-law's. And when I got him back, and my father-in-law still has not seen him because we haven't had a chance to get to Baton Rouge to bring him to him. Amazed. Literally crafted devices, fabbed metal to be able to take care of these weapons. And when I got them back, I mean, just back to the beautiful works of art that they were intended to be when they were made. Mr. Richard, how are you?
Fantastic. You know, it's my most favorite part of the job is the reaction from the customer. When they get Grandpa's old gun back and they're like, this isn't the same gun. Well, I assure you it is.
All the parts are the same.
Even if it's a wall hanger, just that reaction, that look on their face, that's my bread and butter right there.
And you actually not only saw that from me, you got to see that from my wife,
Yep.
which really kind of had to be special because it's her dad's stuff.
And you tell me he hasn't seen it yet.
He has not seen them yet.
Oh, man.
I haven't been able to get them to him yet. We're going to get those to him. Stanley, if you're listening out there, they're coming, and trust me, you will not be disappointed. Speaking of disappointed, Sam, how are you?
I'm doing great, Cavan. I've been taking a few yoga classes recently, so I'm feeling nice and just, the joints are lubricated, really flexible.
You got to love that intro, right? And everybody out there knows that I joke with Sam on a consistent basis, and I am waiting for the day that Sam comes after me with a machete. It'll be okay. But Sam, we appreciate you and what you do here at Better Boot Productions, the top secret podcast layer located somewhere on Jefferson Street, as we delve into, in this segment, our weekly whiskey. So you have the crew. Now you need to know what we are sampling this week. It is Wyoming whiskey, a small batch bourbon whiskey, 88 proof, aged 5 years. Sam, I want to start with you on this one, since, I took the opening salvo right there with the introduction. But I'm curious as to what you think of this when you've had it neat. Now you've also had it over your beautiful, large single ice sphere in your rock heavy tumbler.
Yeah, it's really interesting how different the flavor profile is whenever you switch from neat to with the single ice sphere and your Czechoslovakian crystal glasses. Whenever I first tasted it neat, you got the bold flavors, and I tasted a lot of smokiness on the end. Whenever we put in the ice sphere, I got a lot more sweetness, and I lost some of that smokiness at the end. I think I lost a lot of flavor whenever we went in with the ice sphere. I think whenever I first tasted it neat, I think I liked it a little bit more neat, though I tend to like drinking my whiskeys more with an ice sphere. So that's kind of where I'm at on that. I know you don't want my rating quite yet.
No, I do not want your rating just yet. We're going to go into the Morse Whiskey rating code on the show in just a few moments. Let's then go to Mr. Richard. So You've also had little neat. You've had a little over the ice sphere. I'm curious as to how this hits your palate.
This is fantastic, really. I'm enjoying this. I'm kind of wishing I would have finished the glass before I put the ice in there. But, I was in Texas last week, and I'd come across a bunch of fancier, expensive bourbons, and I started doing some studying. 100 years ago, alcohol was illegal. Now there's laws regarding what you call alcohol. Like, there's actually certain terms or certain...
Well, correct. To be called a bourbon,
correct,
it has to be a 51% corn mash bill, right? It has to be aged at least 4 years in American white oak barrels, right? I mean, there are all those things that factor into it being called bourbon. It's actually illegal if it's not.
Right. And this is fascinating. It's 5-year-old. So you hear me use these terms often, youthful versus dignified. This is a little on the youthful side. It's not bold. It's not subtle. It's a little of both. The warmthness, I think it's affecting my palate. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of that warmth that a peppermint schnapps would leave. So it leaves a good feeling in the mouth. This is extremely, as Sam Stokes would say, sippable whiskey. I could sip this all night long.
Yeah,
this is dangerous.
I was about to say, and it's dangerous that way, right? I absolutely agree with you, Stacy. Your thoughts on this one, and just so everybody knows, because Stacy asked, he said, "Look, I've got my favorite whiskey glass." And we absolutely love that everyone has their favorite whiskey glass, as we all should. That is part of our implicit bias. Stacy's, it is what really was an original whiskey glass. It's a mason jar.
Absolutely.
So your thoughts on this one out of the mason jar?
The mason jar, if this is my thoughts on this, and this is amazing, amazing whiskey. And I can't reply any more than anything they said, but this is a camp whiskey to me. This is one you set around a campfire with your best buddies and your mason jar. You leave your fine china at home with this whiskey, and because you will break that at the end of the night if you drink this whole bottle.
Yeah, because it goes down smooth. And I actually, when we first got a little bit of the nose, we opened it, we had a little bit neat. I said, man, this almost seems like it's got a barley finish for me. And you actually said, I get a lot of cherry out of it.
I get a cherry finish on it. I get a long-lasting cherry finish on it. But actually, you put the ice in it, it actually smooths out. And it's actually, to me, he said he lost a little of the smoke. I get a lot more of the sweet, long-lasting. And it's, to me, it's one that I probably wouldn't have picked up off the shelf, be totally honest with you, just because of, it's just not something I would have picked up. But however, it will be in my wheelhouse.
Yeah. So my thoughts when I first smelled it and tasted, I said, man, this almost feels to me like it has the smoothness of barley as the finish. And when you look at the mash bill, there's wheat, there's barley, it's all there. There's no rye in this. So to your point, neat, I got bold, little bit of sweet. Yes. It wasn't overpowering at 88 proof. And honestly, I think a little more proof might have opened this up just a little more. But when I tell you, we sipped this neat, and I think my first words were, oh, this, A, is dangerous.
Correct.
And B, I'm curious to see what happens when we put the ice sphere in.
I was good with neat, be totally honest with you. I was amazing with neat. But when you put the ice to it, it changed the format of it. And I can't express any more of that. The format changed on it. However, I would drink it neat all night with you guys.
I would drink it neat. When I put it on ice, I was curious to how that first sip would come out. I was like you. I got more sweet. I got less of the wheat, less of the crispness that you got when you had it neat. It just became very smooth. I started to pull maybe a little more of the corn out of it with the ice sphere. So as it got a little bit of that weep, you started to get that sweet, sweet, sweet flavor. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to jump in first with the Morse Whiskey rating code. And we're going to have to reiterate that for our first-time listeners out there. For those that know the Morse Whiskey rating code, we ask you to bear with us. The Morse Whiskey rating code is very simple. A red is I will not drink it even if it's free. Sam, so you know what it is. A yellow is I'll drink it if it's free. Absolutely. A green is I would absolutely buy this. And a blue is I will seek this out. I will go hunting for this to put it in my collection so that when I have a special occasion and I need to open something up with some friends, some family, and have something that I will remember for the rest of my life, a night to remember, this is what I open.
To add to that, these are actually round little stickers that we apply to the bottles, and they are lining the perimeter of the entire shop so as to remind us. So if anybody ever comes in and says, hey, that episode, you talked about this, what was your... There it is. That was a green, that was a yellow, blah, blah, blah. It's a reminder for us as well.
And that is at the Rustic Renegade.
Correct.
So my rating for this one is a solid green, not quite a blue, but this one is one that I would keep on my bar. I would open up for family, for friends. I would mix this. I would buy this every day and twice on Sundays. I really like this Wyoming whiskey, and this is the small batch bourbon. Honestly, I'm shocked at how good it is, to be quite honest. It is that good for me. It is phenomenal. As far as one of those ones I'd put in my collection, you know, I might have one of these just in reserve, so I might buy two, looking at it and going, this is one that I know I'll have accessibility to. It's not going to be hard to find. And of course, if you want to find it, the easiest place to find it is at our whiskey partner who provided it for us, Champagne's Market in the Oil Center. They've got it. Go ask Cindy for Wyoming whiskey. The solid green. I mean, and I may push it to blue as we go into the conversation. So let's go ahead and back over to Sam.
I'm not that high on it. I'm not as high as you. I think
shocker from the whiskey snob in the corner.
You know, one of my friends the other day asked me to join him for Sober October, and I told him I couldn't do it because my whiskey tasting just means too much to the people of Acadiana. They need me to drink.
Sam, I love that overestimation of your own importance. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when we put in the ice sphere, and as the ice sphere's weeping, it's losing so much flavor. And it's at this point for me, it's very sweet. It's very sweet, and it's almost like sipping on candy. And if that's what you're into, I mean, it's good. I kind of wish Caleb was here to try it because, you know, Caleb likes a robust and aggressive flavor.
He does.
And I feel like he would be backing me up on this one. So for me, I think it's a green. I think it's in that green level, but it's not a solid green for me. It's a tepid green.
Tepid green? Did you just make up a word?
I was hoping that was a word.
I don't think that's a word.
Look it up in a second.
Did you say this one was peaty, by the way? I was waiting on you to say that again because it's not.
I'm never
Just so
using
you know.
that word again.
Good. Stacy, your thoughts on where this falls on that scale for you, the Morse whiskey rating?
It's going to be a real low shade of blue, and the only reason it's a low shade of blue for me is because when I look at this whiskey from here on out, I'm gonna think about you guys and the first time I come here, and it's gonna bring back memories. However, would I put it in my collection? Absolutely, but I would get 2 bottles because it is a small batch and we're gonna have consistency issues, and I would want it to taste just like it did tonight.
So for those who do want to know that, because that is important when it comes to a small batch whiskey, a true small batch, you will never get the exact same flavors from one batch to another. That's the way it works because they can never replicate that same taste and flavor profile. This is batch 74. Batch 74. So when you go to Champagne's, know that if you get batch 79, it might be a little different. But if you get batch 74, you'll get the one that we are talking about here on Implicit Bias. So Justin, your thoughts?
This depends on the price, and I know we're getting there. I don't remember if it was Renee or Martin that said it. This is an excellent summer bourbon. This is something I would sip on at the camp, sitting around a campfire. It's a little warm outside. I'm going to go green, maybe solid green, depending on the price. I'm sorry, a solid green for sure. Maybe a blue, depending on the price. This I would replace Rebel with as my diversionary decanter, or to introduce somebody to a good bourbon. I don't like bourbon. Well, hey, look, try this. It's a little light, it's a little youthful, it's not aggressive. Try this first. Don't you dare mix it with Coca-Cola. But
Agreed.
try it.
And this is one, to your point, this is one, and I get to tell this story because Mrs. Implicit Bias at home has okayed it. During quarantine last year, she was a big martini drinker and said, I would like to have a cocktail because she liked to drink not necessarily a martini. It was more olive juice spiked with vodka. So it was not a dirty martini, a filthy dirty martini, which, you know, if that's the way you like them, great. And she said, I need to back away from the sodium. I want to try something else. I want to try a different cocktail. So I took a couple ounces of bourbon and a 1/4 ounce of amaretto, single ice sphere, made her what's called a Godfather, swirled it around. She loved it for about 4 days. Then said, it's too sweet. So what did I pour her? And you're going to love this, Justin, because we were talking about this specific bourbon prior to the show. I poured her a single glass over a beautiful single ice sphere of Willet Pot Still.
Oh, yes.
And she went, oh, I like that. And at that moment, the hook was set. At that moment, the hook was set. This is something that I would bring home to her. Correct. And this will set the hook on someone who is maybe not a straight whiskey, straight bourbon drinker. And they will go, oh, it will open their eyes to a whole new world of what's out there. Stacey?
However, I would say you would serve it neat, just like Sam said. When you served it over the spear, it lost so much.
It did.
And I see you go back to it. You went back to a neat, and that's how I would serve it, as a neat. I would not put it over a spear of ice. I would not, definitely not, because it's got so much flavor, so much more character.
Yeah.
So very quickly, we're going to play What Would You Pay? It is time to play What Would You Pay for Wyoming whiskey, small batch bourbon whiskey, 5-year. Stacey, we're going to start with you. What do you think this bottle runs? Ballpark,
we say in between 40 and 50. Is that
40 to 50? Okay.
Yes.
Mr. Richard.
A young bourbon like this, I was thinking in the same range, but I'll go $35 to $50 a bottle.
35 to 50. Sam Stokes in the corner, who may have already cheated.
I think that 35 to 50, that is a huge margin. What are we doing over here?
He's throwing it up.
Oh my goodness.
Well, it's like saying, I think it's going to be a little more than a penny, a little less than $500.
$1, Bob.
What are we doing? I was thinking 35.
35. Okay. You are all essentially right on point. This is a $35 to $40 bottle of whiskey. And for a $35 to $40 bottle, it is absolutely phenomenal. When you consider some of the things we've had $50, $60, I would absolutely buy this before some of those other bottles here. You can find this bottle at Champagne's Market in the Oil Center. We are going to come back. A situational price is not something that we adhere to on Implicit Bias, because that is like having situational morality. A standard price is what we intend to do. We do not intend to gouge you here on Implicit Bias. We'll have more of this conversation when we come back right here on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
Luxury Limo of Lafayette is now offering airport transportation in style. Get dropped and picked up in their luxurious sedan or their Mercedes-Benz Sprinter for up to 12 travelers. And that's not all. Luxury Limo of Lafayette has 12, 15, 18, 22, 24, 26, and 30 passenger party buses. That's Luxury Limo of Lafayette, 565-4385, 565-4385, or luxurylimooflafayette.net. Treat yourself to luxury with Luxury Limo of Lafayette.
Hello, my name is Rene Girard. I'm Acadiana's certified master tobacconist. Piper's Haven is at 3916 West Congress Street. We are located between Adrian's and Gilboa Road, and we have thousands of cigars in our 553 square foot humidor. Everything you need to go with your cigars can be found at Piper's Haven at 3916 West Congress Street, including cigar cutters, humidors, lighters, pipes, pipe tobacco, meerschaum pipes, briar pipes, pipe tools, pipe stands, pocket knives, and hunting knives, and we also provide knife sharpening. We also have a complete selection of Lamborghini lamps and scents for that woman that's tired of the smell of cigar smoke. Just buy her something nice, and she will appreciate it a lot more. If you need a place to relax and smoke a cigar, come sit on our porch. Just remember to bring your chair. Piper's Haven at 3916 West Congress between Adrian's and Gilboa Road.
Don't be afraid of your dentist. State-of-the-art, comfortable, and affordable dental care is just minutes away. Dr. Patrick Breesy practices sedation dentistry while providing services including dental implants and cosmetic makeovers. His brand new office in Rain houses the latest in dental technology, so you can have the most pleasant dental experience while receiving the best results. Visit his website at raindentist.com. That's RAYNEDENTIST.com.
Educational, social, and personal development for children is difficult to navigate, even more so for parents of children with disabilities. Do you need insight and understanding of your disabled child? Do you need an educational plan? Turn to Dr. T. Scott Smith. With a PhD in educational psychology and 20 years experience working with parents and children with disabilities, Dr. Smith can assist with social, educational, and personal development. Contact Dr. Smith via his website at www.strategy365consulting.com or his email, at tscottsmith@aol.com.
Ladies, we know that man in your life is hard to shop for. That's why you need to go to the Rustic Renegade, Acadiana's only true men's emporium. They have unique gifts for the man in your life, including grooming essentials, special coffees, clothing, items perfect for his man cave, and yes, knives, guns, and accessories. So come on by the Rustic Renegade at 2842 Northeast Evangeline Thruway, just north of Pointe de Mouton, or visit them online at therusticrenegade.com. That's therusticrenegade.com for the man in your life.
You're listening to Implicit Bias on News Talk 96.5 KPRO. Welcome into the third segment of Implicit Bias. Hopefully Sam doesn't make me do this one again because he hit the wrong button like he did at the end of a segment or two ago. Sam, thank you very much, because you know what? I'd messed that one up and it was actually better on the second take. So I'm going to give you credit for making me do it actually right.
This is my plan all along.
Because you're not worried about the situation. You're worried about getting it right and doing it the right way, right?
Yeah, let's say that.
That's exactly what it was, because we do not engage in situational morality here on Implicit Bias. It is what we like. It is what is right. It is what is wrong, regardless of the situation. A very quick reminder of who we have in the Top Secret Podcast layer. The crew for this week, Mr. Stacy Stokes, sitting in for Mike the Wheel Trammell of Luxury Limousine of Lafayette. We have across the table from me, Acadiana's gunsmith, Justin Richard from the Rustic Renegade, 2842 Northeast Evangeline Thruway. And of course, you've already heard Sam Stokes from Better Boot Productions, the man who makes us sound as good as we possibly can on the radio for you here today. But we were talking situational morality, and what we will not do. There are some situations, unfortunately, going on right now where people are deciding that the ends justify the means. And if you're a student of history and you hear that term, you know right away something bad is about to happen. Because every government, every authority that says the ends justifies the means usually has terrible means in place. So let's start with a video that came out of North Carolina. And I'm not so much focused on COVID. I'm not so much focused on everything that surrounds that. What I am focused on is someone who is willing to lie to make you do something you may not want to do. So I'm going to let you listen into this video, and I'm going to give you some of the principles in this audio here, because it's a video that we're able to play for you over the radio, where you have marketing administrators from a hospital. You have doctors from a hospital in this audio. I'm going to let you listen, and then we're going to dissect it. That is all I'm going to set up here for you, because honestly, this audio speaks for itself. Sam?
Dashboard and how it's set up myself, as far as how we get information out to the community on meaningful numbers. We do that on a weekly basis. So that's on our website, and we've been sharing that through social channels as well, particularly those graphics that show the number of patients in-house, the percentage of them that are unvaccinated, the percentage of unvaccinated people in the ICU, and the percentage of deaths and the numbers. So those are numbers that we put out. As far as we don't get into details of floor or those other numbers are certainly out there.
Right. I guess my feeling at this point in time is maybe we need to be completely a little bit more scary for the public. Then there's another comment is I completely agree. There are many people still hospitalized that we're considering post-COVID, but we're not counting in those numbers. So how do we include those post-COVID people in the numbers of the patients we have in the hospital?
So is that all the people who have been in the hospital since the beginning of COVID?
Well, or that are still in it. And that's something that I can take to someone else. But I think those are important numbers. The patients that are still in the hospital, that are off the COVID floor, but still are occupying the hospital for a variety of reasons.
Okay.
Carolyn, we call those I'm sorry, we're calling those recovered now. If you look at the Novant Health dashboard, they're listed as recovered. But I do think from our standpoint, we would still consider them a COVID patient because they're still healing.
Yeah. So I think that needs to be highlighted as well.
Yeah.
Because once they're off isolation, they drop from the COVID numbers. That's exactly right.
Kellen, we can talk offline and how we run that up to marketing. And
all right. So I'm just going to say, Carolyn, I think we have to be more blunt. We have to be more forceful. We have to say something coming out. You don't get vaccinated, you're going to die. I mean, let's just be really blunt to these people.
Okay. So there are some things that jumped out at me in that audio that I hope jumped out at you. Number one, we need to be more scary. Number two, how do we count people that are post-COVID in the COVID numbers? Number three, we are counting people as recovered. So how do we count those people in the hospitalization from COVID numbers? Number four, we're going to talk offline. Number five, and this is maybe the scariest of them all. If you don't get vaccinated, you're going to die. When obviously they know you're not necessarily going to die. Not saying it won't happen, but it's not a guarantee, and they want to make it sound like it's a guarantee. There is so much wrong with this. So much wrong. And let me make it worse. The hospital, after this got leaked, released a statement about, and I quote, curtailing misinformation. Let me tell you something, you are the misinformation. Don't give me this BS when you're trying to figure out how to make things sound like you want them to, when in fact, you are the one lying. And look, you can say anything to anyone as long as you say it the right way. But sometimes you have to call a wife beater, not a domestic abuser, because we need the terminology to understand what's happening. You are not disinformation. You are a liar. If you are trying to manipulate information to make people think something that isn't the case. So, gents, my blood obviously has been boiling through this, and it's been boiling for a day or two. I'm curious as to, you got this video last night before we recorded. You haven't had maybe a ton of time to ingest it. I kind of wanted it that way because it leaves it a little raw. The reaction here is important. The response, I think, is natural. So, Stacey, you get to go first.
Great. Me personally, I am a COVID survivor, as y'all know. I spent 5 days in a hospital with O2, because I can't say oxygen because I'm a redneck. We're from above Bunkie, and some reason or another, my vocal skills do not say that word. So we're going to say O2. So I stayed on O2 for a few years, like 5 days or something like that. But however, I feel like the government is trying to scare people into taking the vaccines and all these other things. I don't feel like it. My thing is, if you want to protect your family, if you want to protect your loved ones and all like that, take the vaccine. But if you don't be scared into this. Do the research, do your diligence and say that, and my issue is we got this lady here on this video that is trying to scare people. But she also, if you listen to everything that she says, she's talking about marketing. She's talking about, when she's saying marketing, that is income for the hospital. But
Correct.
she's also said, hey, listen, let's talk offline. And you spoke on it earlier. Why are they talking offline? Why can't we talk about what's going on into the general public? Because are they hiding something?
Well, and you bring up a point that not a lot of people will think about. Most people perceive the marketing department of any corporation as the advertising department, when in reality, the marketing department is the revenue generating arm of the entity. Correct. So the marketing department for a lot of big organizations They are saying, how are we going to make our number for next year? Here's how we're going to do it. So there's potentially a tie-in there when literally, and when you say, I think they're trying to scare people, this woman actually said, we need to be more scary.
Right.
How disgusting is that, Mr. Richard?
I had a friendly debate with a friend of mine's wife who works in a hospital. And she was saying that, we're seeing a rise in the numbers of people coming into the hospitals with COVID. Most of them are unvaccinated. Well, it's interesting. You see, one news source says it's vaccinated people, another source says it's unvaccinated people. Somebody's lying, okay? That's point number one.
Somebody somewhere, agreed.
Right. Point number two is we have an unprecedented number of people who are washing their hands, wearing masks, social distancing. All businesses are sanitizing every square inch of their business. We've shut down schools. We've shut down businesses. The vaccine has been available since the beginning of the year. Half the country, at least I think, is vaccinated. Why are the numbers going up? Should they not be at least leveled off?
So the argument's going to be is that the unvaccinated, right, are spreading. But the reality is there are studies from other countries that will tell you that the viral load carried by the vaccinated is significantly higher than the viral load carried by the unvaccinated when they do come down with it.
So the question I present for you to ponder is it not fear driving people into the hospitals? You get the sniffles, you get a little fever, you get a little body ache, boom, you're at the hospital. Even though you may or may not have COVID. I mean, they've even said that these tests cannot differentiate between the regular flu and COVID.
And look, that is a great point because July 23rd of this year, the FDA said, yeah, we're pulling the rapid test because the rapid test results aren't great. The CDC then said, the rapid test, which, by the way, is the predicate for all of the numbers out there historically that we have, the CDC said, yeah, we should do away with the rapid test at the end of the year.
Correct.
Wait a minute. So it's not getting you the best numbers out there, but we're going to continue to use it for 6 months? Wait, you admit that there's other areas and other ways out there to test, but we're still going to use the bad data for 6 months? Why would we do that? That's one part of the question, which unless Sam, who's watching the football game on the TV, has an answer for it. Sam, do you have any idea why we would do that?
I do not.
Okay, thank you. So if there's no answer, and Sam is know-all, see-all, omnipotent, right?
Is that correct?
No, that's not. But anyway, we'll play like it is. The whole point is, if we know we've got bad data, Justin, why do we continue with bad data to support bad numbers, which creates a bad narrative, which makes people afraid, which then has people lying to make people more afraid and compounding the issue? Look, I'm not saying there's a James Bond villain behind the curtain. What I'm saying is, if there was a James Bond villain behind the curtain, this would be exactly what that James Bond villain would want.
It seems to look like there's an agenda.
So to your point, you actually made the comment that there are studies that say it's the vaccinated spreading it, studies saying it's the unvaccinated spreading it, studies saying it's the vaccinated in the hospital, studies saying it's the unvaccinated in the hospital. We're going to talk about where that information comes from and the comment you made, which is someone is lying somewhere. And if you think we haven't brought our proof, we're going to give you a citation. We're going to give you quotation. We're going to give you all the situational adjustments that are made to try and make the narrative fit whatever it is they want. But guess what? Here on Implicit Bias, we're going to try and cut through all the, not IB, we're going to try and cut through all the BS for you, give you the place to find it, come back with more right here on News Talk 96.5.
William S. Nicol Jewelry has been serving the Acadiana area for over 40 years now. Loose diamonds, engagement rings, wedding sets, the most extensive in-store selection Acadiana has to offer. Waterford crystal, Swarovski crystal, and a complete Pandora jewelry shop and shop right on the showroom floor. In-house jewelry repairs and a friendly, knowledgeable staff to assist you. When you want bigger, better diamonds for less, When you want quality merchandise at affordable prices, shop local. Shop William S. Nacole Jewelry, 3802 Johnson Street, Lafayette.
You deserve the healthiest and tastiest steaks available. You deserve Wagyu. Known for its unmatched flavor and marbling, Rosewood Farms raises Texas Wagyu and is only available at a few select locations in Acadiana. Rosewood Ranch's Texas Wagyu has a buttery flavor and is remarkably tender. It is also high in omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids, which are known to fight heart disease, Alzheimer's, and arthritis. Ask for Rosewood Ranch's Texas Wagyu at Shoppine's Market, Tooks Meat Market, and Alexander's Market in Baton Rouge. Tell them it's your implicit bias. Taste the Wagyu difference with Rosewood Farms Texas Wagyu.
Luxury Limo of Lafayette is now offering airport transportation in style. Get dropped and picked up in their luxurious sedan or their Mercedes-Benz Sprinter for up to 12 travelers. And that's not all. Luxury Limo of Lafayette has 12, 15, 18, 22, 24, 26, and 30 passenger party buses. That's Luxury Limo of Lafayette, 565-4385, 565-4385, or LuxuryLimoofLafayette.net. Treat yourself to luxury with Luxury Limo of Lafayette.
Attention Acadiana, have you been to the Rustic Renegade? Acadiana's only true men's emporium. The Rustic Renegade has it all. Special items for that man cave, special coffee blends, unique gifts and grooming items, and best of all, Acadiana's only simulated range where you can shoot not only targets, but you can shoot scenarios. Why spend a fortune on ammunition? You can become better at what you like to do. At the Rustic Renegade, knives, guns, accessories, and the experts to handle it all. That's the Rustic Renegade, 2842 Northeast Evangeline Thruway.
College represents wonderful opportunities for parents and students. It also represents time and money. But what's the probability of employment after graduation? What's the expected salary? Where will they need to live? With a PhD in educational psychology and 10 years academic advising experience, Dr. T. Scott Smith can help. Dr. Smith can project future wages, geographical need, and overall employability of a degree from your proposed school and major. For an evaluation, go to strategy365consulting.com. Make your college investment worth it. Contact Dr. T. Scott Smith, www.strategy365consulting.com.
Welcome into the final segment of Implicit Bias for this hour. We are presented to you by the Rustic Renegade, 2842 Northeast Evangeline Thruway. I am your host, Cavan Bordelon. We are talking about situational morality on this week's show. And let's put it simple. What's right in one situation, not being right in another. As opposed to someone who has principles, who says, this principle is correct across the board. We do our best to be situationally correct across the board. One of the places where we draw a line, for example, is with children. And I'll give you a great example of that. We talked a little about this last week. We are standard across the board that we respect life, but we respect the individual enough to let them make their own decision. So a child, we absolutely understand there being a seatbelt law to protect a child. But an adult, if you are old enough to make a decision to have a drink, to go get shot for your country or shoot someone else in the name of your country, you know what? You probably should have the right to decide whether or not you wear a seatbelt in your car and if you want to become a missile at 35 miles an hour through your own windshield. Unfortunately, a lot of entities, the ruling class, I don't think they want to make decisions for you. We were talking about, in our last segment, a hospital administrator in North Carolina who, after this got leaked, said, we want to stop the spread of misinformation. But in the leaked conference call, basically said, we want to create misinformation to, quote, scare people. We want to change the way that we count things so that we can be more scary to people. Well, that comes down to now what one of our wonderful panelists, part of the crew, KREWE, here in the Top Secret Podcast layer at Better Root Productions, said during the last segment, someone somewhere is lying. That was Acadiana's gunsmith, Mr. Justin Richard. We are also joined by Stacy Stokes, who is, we'll call him part of Luxury Limo of Lafayette. If Mike Trammell is the wheel, you are the wrench, correct?
Absolutely.
And Sam, you do not get that nickname because I know you want it.
I'm also the wrench.
No, you're not.
He fought me for the ring. He fought me for it, but I beat him at thumb wrestling.
I was about to say, not much of a fight.
Thumb wrestle.
Anyway, the comment was brought up, someone is lying. So let's talk about how the CDC counts a breakthrough case. So the question was, people who are hospitalized, are they in fact vaccinated or unvaccinated? We are told it is 90-10 split, unvax to vax, until you understand how the CDC defines a vaccine breakthrough case. And I quote, "A vaccine breakthrough infection is defined as the detection of SARS-CoV-2 RNA or antigen in a respiratory specimen collected from a person less than 14 days after they have completed all recommended doses of a U.S. Food and Drug. Actually, I apologize. It is greater than 14 days after they have completed all recommended doses of a U.S. Food and Drug Administration FDA authorized COVID-19 vaccine. In other words, according to the CDC, if you have had both shots and you are 13 days past your second shot and you are diagnosed with COVID, you are not a breakthrough case. You are, quote, unvaccinated. So you have had both shots, but according to the CDC, you're unvaccinated.
Correct.
So help me understand how someone who's had both shots doesn't, at the very least, create significant gray area.
I hope you understand that. This level of flubbing of numbers is why Gavin Newsom is still.
You have no idea how correct you are. Let me give you why this is really, really important, because this hit me earlier today after I saw this case. I was having this discussion. Big Whiskey Kenny Michael, a.k.a. the Whiskey Fairy, my college roommate, he and I were having lunch. And the reason we call him the Whiskey Fairy, Stacy, is because he is actually a representative for a liquor company.
Oh, yes.
And he knows that we do this show. Part of the marketing for his company is this show. So he shows up in town. He has the code to my house, and whiskey just shows up at my home.
Listen, I can give you my address. He
can
drop off anytime.
All of a sudden, that nickname is really cool, isn't it?
I love that fairy name.
So he and I were having a discussion at lunch, and Kenny, thank you for walking me through this, because you and I, that discussion really opened my mind here. Okay, so there's gray area. But if all of a sudden, say we found out, and this is not the case, I'm not trying to say this is the case, don't miscue what I'm about to say. However, say all of a sudden you found out that of the 90% of, quote, unvaccinated had one shot, say 90% had their second shot, wouldn't that open up the question of, are both shots affecting the numbers, right? All of a sudden, is someone who has both shots testing positive when maybe, in fact, they are suffering a side effect, or there's a lot of questions that come with this, that by simply saying, this is our definition, if you've had both shots and you're less than 14 days out or greater than 14 days out, that's the only way you are vaccinated. If you are less than 14 days out but have both shots, you are, quote, unvaccinated. It is a huge question. And gentlemen, I'm curious as to your thoughts. Mr. Richard, you want to start?
This, George Orwell would be absolutely amazed at what's going on here. He would
amazed, or would he just be happy that he predicted everything?
Right. He'd be like, man, I never thought it was that bad. This is, read the book. If you haven't read the book, go read it. In fact, I think you can get it, that and Animal Farm, in one book. Read them both. Do yourself a favor and watch what's going on in this country.
Stacy?
I can pipe in and say, I can't really put my finger on it, but my thing is wake up, America. That's the only word I can say is wake up and do your research, because this is getting deeper and deeper and deeper. And you guys have brought so much to it. But my thing is where does it end?
There, I think, is the greatest question in all of this. which is once this starts, does it ever stop until everything is gone?
Correct. It's like you said earlier about the Salem witch trials. Even though they knew, they pursued it anyway.
Correct.
But in this case, to what end? To what's the means? I mean,
if you think about basically every totalitarian regime, the propaganda, for lack of a better term, and it's actually the right term, the propaganda was always, we're doing this for you. We're doing this for your own good.
For your safety, for your security.
And the problem that I have with all of this is, who the hell do you think you are as to know what is good for me?
Okay.
Go ahead, Stacey.
I've got a key in here. This country was based on freedoms. You know, think about this. Our forefathers come over here to escape the things in which they were
persecuted for in their own country.
Okay, so now we're going back to what it was then. Come on, I'm dying here, people. Help me out. Just explain to me exactly how can you tell me that it's for the betterment of me? You know, if you go back and look at it, we can overthrow the government at any time. It's set up in the Constitution, is it not?
Well, that's the whole point of the Second Amendment, right? It's why we are not under COVID lockdown. I say, I don't want to go that far. It is why Australia, I do believe, and this is my belief, it is why Australia is under COVID lockdown and has the military going house to house. Now, that's not Cavan Bordelon saying that. That is the NPR saying that.
Correct.
It's why they can send the military house to house to check for quarantine and vaccination. That is according to NPR, not Cavan.
But also, can I add this?
Sure.
They gave, and I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings, but they also gave up their guns.
Well, that's why they can do it.
I'm like, you're going to give up your guns. You're going to give up all these things. You're going to give up your freedom. And listen, we got people in this country right now that want us. Okay, I'm a redneck. Okay, y'all can hear my voice and everything like this. I'm down here with these boys, and I'm enjoying every minute. But I am a true redneck. Am I not? You looking at me and tell me, do I not fit the picture of a redneck? I'm not giving up my guns. I'm sorry.
Guess what? I'm not a redneck. I'm not giving up my guns either.
Exactly
I'm
not.
full on Cajun. So here's the question I have, because Sam in the corner has been awfully quiet. And I know Sam doesn't watch a lot of news. Sam probably watches more soccer than anything else, and that's actually not a joke. So, Sam, I'm curious, when I read to you this definition of someone who is vaccinated versus unvaccinated, does that fit with the narrative that you have heard about hospitalizations and what they are, and the unvaccinated versus the vaccinated creating problems? The fact that you literally can have both shots and be 1 day short of 2 weeks out, and you were counted as unvaccinated if all of a sudden you come up with symptoms.
Honestly, I mean, from the start, I've always heard that you're not really vaccinated until, 10 days after you get your vaccine. So I'm not surprised by that at all.
Not surprised. Okay, so would it surprise you if I told you that the CDC changed its definition of a vaccine in the last 3 months to take out that you will no longer catch the disease? Because that is actual fact as well. You can go just do a quick search on that. You will find screenshots of everything that the CDC changed. Would that surprise you? So essentially, the vaccine is not a vaccine. It isn't an inoculation of sorts, I guess. Now, I'm not a doctor, so I don't know the correct medical terminology, because the one thing I think we do know is that if you've had the vaccine and you do get hospitalized, it lessens the impact of what you get. Right.
That would surprise me, but honestly, I have no idea about vaccines or anything else. Or other vaccines that you would take, like instantaneous?
So, for example, MMA, the MMR, not MMA, MMR, right? MMA, yeah, if you get vaccinated against MMA, you will never watch a Dana White production. But no, MMR, right? You're no longer going to get measles, mumps. We have essentially eradicated that in the U.S. Chickenpox. I am of an age that your parents wanted you to catch chickenpox as a kid because it wasn't going to kill you. And once you had it, you never got it again.
But there's no on-ramping period. Like I know if I take an Advil, it's going to take half an hour before it kicks in.
I'm sure there's a minimal amount of time that it takes to integrate into the body. But as a kid, I mean, you take a tetanus shot. You go out, you scratch yourself on a rusty nail within 2 hours. If you go tell your doctor I had a tetanus shot 4 hours ago, they're not going to tell you to get another tetanus shot.
Absolutely not.
Right? They're going to keep you right there and say, well, you've had your tetanus shot. You're up to date. You should be good.
They're also adding. You need to get a booster shot after the 2. Have y'all heard of that shit?
So
and I'm freaking totally out now because the 2 shots is not enough, so we're going to get a booster.
So the booster's another one, but
I'm just throwing that out there on top of that. Now, as far as me, I'm not able to get a shot because I've had it, and now I'm good for 3 months.
So you have
and
antibodies.
I've had antibodies and all this other stuff.
We hope you don't have antibodies to more implicit bias. We'll come back with the second hour right here on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
You're listening to News Talk 96.5 KPEL Breaux Bridge, Lafayette, a Town Square media station.
Don't be afraid of your dentist. State-of-the-art, comfortable, and affordable dental care is just minutes away. Dr. Patrick Breesy practices sedation dentistry while providing services including dental implants and cosmetic makeovers. His brand new office in Rain houses the latest in dental technology, so you can have the most pleasant dental experience while receiving the best results. Visit his website at raindentist.com. That's RAYNEDENTIST.com.
Attention Acadiana, have you been to the Rustic Renegade? Acadiana's only true men's emporium. The Rustic Renegade has it all. Special items for that man cave, special coffee blends, unique gifts and grooming items, and best of all, Acadiana's only simulated range where you can shoot not only targets, but you can shoot scenarios. Why spend a fortune on ammunition? You can become better at what you like to do at the Rustic Renegade. Knives, guns, accessories, and the experts to handle it all. That's the Rustic Renegade, 2842 northeast of Angelin Thruway.
William S. Nicole Jewelry has been serving the Acadiana area for over 40 years now. Loose diamonds, engagement rings, wedding sets, the most extensive in-store selection Acadiana has to offer. Waterford Crystal, Swarovski Crystal, and a complete Pandora Jewelry shop right on the showroom floor. In-house jewelry repairs, and a friendly, knowledgeable staff to assist you. When you want bigger, better diamonds for less, when you want quality merchandise at affordable prices, shop local. Shop William S. Nicole Jewelry, 3802 Johnson Street, Lafayette.
Nobody likes to drive around in a grimy ride. Clean that car the Cajun way. Zydeco Ride and Shine Car Wash at 320 Willow and Cajun Car Wash at 510 Lafayette Street in Youngsville are there for you. Our facilities provide you with the best automatic car wash in the Acadiana area. Regulars get a bonus. Buy 3 washes at a location, get the 4th one free. Zydeco Ride and Shine and Cajun Car Wash, keeping Acadiana's rides clean since 2014. Men want to look like men. That means when it's time for a fresh cut, men go where men go. All American Barbering. Licensed barber Nick Duplichan and the staff at All American Barbering do it right. From old school haircuts to straight razor shaves to beard trim and shaping. Even boys look like men after a cut from All American Barbering. A veteran-owned business, All American Barbering is located in Broussard at 807 Albertsons Parkway, Suite B. Schedule your appointment to look like a man at their website, allamericanbarbering.com. Remember, men, when you want to look like a man, go to Broussard. Go to All American Barbering.
Sam has readily admitted in the second hour of Implicit Bias that he has to hydrate significantly, apparently, in order to sample our weekly whiskey, which, by the way, this week in our second hour is still Wyoming whiskey, small batch bourbon whiskey. I think the crew here will still give this, I think it's going to average out to a solid green.
A tepid green.
You had to go back to the word, right? You had to go back to the word. This is Implicit Bias. I'm your host, Cavan Bordelon. As always, we're presented by the Rustic Renegade, 2842 northeast of Angelin Thruway. But this hour is special. Acadiana's, I like doing the certified wizard of tobacco thing, but I can't take away from the fact that Rene Girard is actually one of 15.
That's insane. In the world.
In the world, right? Certified master tobacconist. I mean, when you think about what that means and what he knows about tobacco, if you're going anywhere else in the Acadiana area for a cigar, you're probably going to the person who doesn't know as much as Rene. It's just that simple.
And compare it with a good whiskey.
He absolutely can. So go to Piper's Haven, 3916 West Congress. He makes this second hour of Implicit Bias happen. So if you like it, please visit him. If you don't, blame him. That's what it's all about. We have the crew here in the Top Secret Podcast Lair this week that is unique. It is the first time for Stacey Stokes. He is the wrench for Mike, the wheel Trammell of Luxury Limo of Lafayette.
Absolutely. Thank y'all for having me. I'm having a great time.
We appreciate you being here. We have Acadiana's gunsmith from the Rustic Renegade, Mr. Justin Richard.
I picked a bad day to quit drinking.
And, of course, in the corner, as always, we have Sam Stokes, who we give a mountain of grief to. An absolute massive amount of grief to. But you know what? Sam ultimately makes this happen. And trust me, if it wasn't for Sam, you really wouldn't like the way this sounds. So we appreciate what you do over there in the corner, Sam. We were talking about situational morality and all of a sudden maybe bending what your moral view is depending upon the situation. It's that easy, right? Our moral view is that the truth, the absolute truth matters. Because you can't make a really good decision if you don't have all the facts. So let's talk about some of the facts that we went over in the first hour. First fact. We had, and if you missed it, you can find it on our podcast when it hits. We have, from a hospital in North Carolina, an administrator, marketing doctor admitting to the fact that they need to, and I quote, be more scary, end quote, to the public. To, and I'm not going to quote this, but I'm going to walk you through kind of the points of this, to take patients who are off of the COVID ward and keep them on the COVID numbers. To take patients that they are counting as, quote, recovered, unquote, to make them count in the hospitalization numbers. To talk about it offline. Think about that. So we have that. We have the CDC saying that if you've had 2 shots and you're 13 days out, you are counted as unvaccinated. So factually, you've had 2 shots. But according to the CDC, you've had none. 0. Then this one. And this one, so this one I have a little bit of trouble with because there are people suffering in COVID wards right now. And before we get any deeper into this, I don't want anyone to misconstrue our concern, our care, our love as defined by St. Thomas More, which is to will the good of other for the sake of other, which is implicitly what we want here. But we believe that everyone needs the cold, hard truth in order for everyone to get that good of other. There's a couple of places where I'm going to quote from here. This article was posted at Conservative Treehouse. They are quoting The Atlantic. And that's the really interesting part, right? Because when they are quoting The Atlantic is not necessarily known for its right-leaning information, right? It is known more for information that leans to the left. So this is really, really interesting. And this is the quote from The Atlantic. 2 separate studies published in May, doctors in California read through several hundred charts of pediatric patients one by one to figure out why exactly each COVID-positive child had been admitted to the hospital. Did they need treatment for COVID, or was there some other reason for admission, like cancer treatment, or a psychiatric episode, or the COVID diagnosis was merely incidental? According to the researchers, 40 to 45% of hospitalizations that they examined were for patients in the latter group. Now, that is from The Atlantic. They do quote children, which changes the dynamic here a bit, right? Because we know that literally any disease is going to take the older and affect them in a more serious manner. But there is, according to the CDC, really no distinction between someone being in the hospital for COVID and someone being in the hospital with COVID. right? The war of words is very, very real. And if you're out there listening and you think that people won't change a word in a sentence to make it mean something completely different, don't be naive. The reality is people are changing words all the time. Matter of fact, one of my favorite words, and we're going down this rabbit hole. I love this because this sets us up perfect. One of my favorite words is whataboutism. Anybody ever heard the word whataboutism?
No, but I hope you explain it to us.
Please do.
Okay. So whataboutism is a term that is used when someone has a situation. Take gun laws, for example, right? And someone says, we had a tragic incident that involved a gun. And it might involve a gun, a certain type of gun, that they then say, oh, we need to ban that type of gun. So we sit down and have a conversation and say, well, wait a minute. You really care about this type of gun. But if you really want to affect the numbers, you need to take away handguns. Because handguns are really responsible for a lot more than, say, a long rifle, right? Deaths in the United States. Statistically, that is a fact. Their answer is, well, that's whataboutism. You're asking, what about this? It doesn't address this right here. So let me say this to those that use the word whataboutism. You are morally corrupt. If you say that someone else is using whataboutism, you know what it means? It means that you have flexible moral standards depending upon the situation. Because the reality is, if you care about life the way that you claim to care about life in a situation such as a long gun, you should care about it in the same situation as you care about it with a handgun. It doesn't matter. And guess what? The only constant between the two instruments that create tragedy is the human being, not the tool with which they use to get there. We are the problem. And you using the term whataboutism, you are even worse of the problem because you refuse to address the true meaning of the problem, which is you and me and the lack of respect for human life in that situation. The war of words is very, very real. So you're telling me, to bring it back to this, and we had this incident happen. I actually had this on the show, maybe a year ago now, where there was a person brought in Washington who was shot to death. Take a guess how he was listed. Stacy, any idea?
COVID.
Justin?
I would agree.
Sam? I know the answer is soccer with you, but...
COVID?
Yes. Literally, a person who was shot to death in the state of Washington was listed as a COVID death. The state health director was asked about it, and they said, well, they died with COVID. With. Correct. Not of.
Because.
Right. Not with or because. Not of or because. With. Therein lies the problem of situational morality. Go ahead, Justin. I'm sorry.
Well, that was one number. That's one for the COVID argument.
Correct.
Speaking of argument, one of my best classes in college, I went to UL early 2000s. It was my English 101 class. And I'll never forget what the instructor said. All forms of writing is some form of argument. An advertisement is arguing to get you to buy their product, is it not? These articles, every form of writing is some form of argument. But it seems to me that these days, all of these articles are arguing for something.
So here's the interesting part about that. I do agree that we get a lot of media that all seem to be lockstep in the same direction.
Right.
But do you notice? The truth is starting to get out, right? And I say the truth because there are going to be arguments on the other side of this as well. And we recognize this is our implicit bias. I'll tell you, I am going to side every single day on the individual's right to decide as opposed to the state's right to impose a mandate. Every single day. I like that. That is what I want for myself. You know why? Because it's my body, my choice. It is my wife's body. It is her choice. It is my son's body. It is his choice. It is my daughter's body. It is her choice. I don't disrespect other human beings enough to tell you that I get to make the decision for you, except for one place, which is changing the radio station. You cannot change the station because Sam is in the corner giving me the finger, which means we need to take a break, and we will be back with more Implicit Bias after this break right here on News Talk 96.5 KCOM.
Ladies, we know that man in your life is hard to shop for. That's why you need to go to the Rustic Renegade, Acadiana's only true men's emporium. They have unique gifts for the man in your life, including grooming essentials, special coffees, clothing, items perfect for his man cave, and yes, knives, guns, and accessories. So come on by the Rustic Renegade at 2842 Northeast Evangeline Thruway, just north of Pointe de Mouton, or visit them online at therusticrenegade.com. That's therusticrenegade.com for the man in your life.
Does your insurance give you assurance? Justin Robichaux with Quality Plus Insurance is in the business of providing personal and commercial coverage with integrity and confidence, focused on your long-term goals and partnership. As an independent insurance agent, Quality Plus Insurance has more than 30 years of experience creating tailored insurance coverage for their customers, and they have relationships with multiple major carriers. Insurance with assurance. Justin Robichaux and Quality Plus Insurance, 233-9925 or qualityplusinsurance.com.
William S. Nicole Jewelry has been serving the Acadiana area for over 40 years now. Loose diamonds, engagement rings, wedding sets, the most extensive in-store selection Acadiana has to offer. Waterford crystal, Swarovski crystal, and a complete Pandora jewelry shop right on the showroom floor. In-house jewelry repairs and a friendly, knowledgeable staff to assist you. When you want bigger, better diamonds for less, when you want quality merchandise at affordable prices, shop local. Shop William S. Nicole Jewelry, 3802 Johnson Street, Lafayette.
Don't be afraid of your dentist. State-of-the-art, comfortable, and affordable dental care is just minutes away. Dr. Patrick Breesy practices sedation dentistry while providing services including dental implants and cosmetic makeovers. His brand new office in Rain houses the latest in dental technology, so you can have the most pleasant dental experience while receiving the best results. Visit his website at raindentist.com. That's RAYNEDENTIST.com.
Men want to look like men. That means when it's time for a fresh cut, men go where men go. All-American Barbering. Licensed barber Nick Duplashan and the staff at All-American Barbering do it right. From old school haircuts to straight razor shaves to beard trim and shaping. Even boys look like men after a cut from All-American Barbering. A veteran-owned business, All-American Barbering is located in Broussard at 807 Albertsons Parkway, Suite B. Schedule your appointment to look like a man at their website, allamericanbarbering.com. Remember, men, when you want to look like a man, go to Broussard. Go to All-American Barbering.
Scared money don't make money.
It is raucous. It is rowdy. The discussion here on Implicit Bias is going the way that Sam does not want it to go because we started having it while we weren't recording. We are now back on the air, though. We are with you. I am Cavan Bordelon, your host. We are brought to you in this second hour by Piper's Haven, 3916 West Congress. Swing in, grab a stick, tell Renee what bourbon you're going to be drinking, or just sit on the porch, and we hope you've still got time to listen to a little more of Implicit Bias right there at Piper's Haven. We are joined this week by Stacey Stokes, by the gunsmith, not a gunsmith, the gunsmith from the Rustic Renegade. And boy, all of a sudden I can't talk. He is Justin Richard. I don't know why I can't talk, and it's not because I've oversampled the weekly whiskey, as maybe some people have, because we do have someone in the chair of intoxication here this week, but that's another story. And, of course, Sam Stokes in the corner. We are talking about situational morality and things being maybe right in one scenario and not right in another. So let's keep going, because this conversation started going somewhere during the break that we absolutely wanted to make sure you heard. If you didn't, I'm going to read you the headline. Now, this comes from Fox News, but this is in many other places other than Fox News. And as much as I hate to tell you, if you don't think it's fact, well, you may want to go double check your source. Congress is exempt from the presidential COVID-19 vaccine mandate. So help me understand. If this is about saving the life of the person next to you, because that's the way that this has been positioned by the teleprompter that he reads from. To be clear, not him, the teleprompter that he reads from. If this is about saving the person next to you, then why is it, and I'm going to say this very tongue-in-cheek, those who are supposed to be the most important among us, the lawmakers, the moral leaders, the leaders of our country, they don't have it mandated? But if you work for an organization that has 100 employees or more, you have to take it? Now, make no mistake, that mandate is going to be challenged in courts of law hundreds, if not thousands of times across this country. And it should be. But if it's so important, if it is such a moral obligation that one person in one situation should have this, then why is it not applying to every situation?
Rules for thee, not for me.
I love it. He summed it up, man.
I was speaking to my mother earlier today. She works in the medical field. I was like, Mom, you're going to have to get vaccinated or lose your job? She said, yes. She said, but there are exemptions. You know, women who are pregnant, they don't have to get vaccinated. Okay, Mom, but whenever they give birth and quit breastfeeding, will they then lose their jobs? Yes, they will. Well, that ain't right.
So let's take this the next step, because it is well documented. And if you haven't found this, don't trust Cavan Bordelon. Please don't trust me. I beg you, don't trust me. I want you not to trust me. I want you not to trust me. I want you to go look it up. Because me saying it, us saying it here on the air, you're hearing it. If you go look it up, you might be learning. Right? And that's what we all need to do. If you think that the continual vaccination of everyone is not a thing, go look at why the Israeli vaccine passport has 8 entries on it. Go look up why Pfizer's prospectus predicts that they will make $6+ billion from this vaccine in 2023. 2 years from now.
Interesting.
Now, I'm not saying, I'm just asking the question, as I think every sane, intelligent, wise person should. Because notice, the word smart is mentioned 0 times in the Bible. And we got a lot of smart people telling us things right now. Wisdom, on the other hand, the word wise in some way, shape, or form is mentioned an awful lot in the Bible. There's a reason why. Because smart takes the human side of the discussion. You can be smart and not recognize truth. You cannot be wise and ignore truth. There are a lot of arrows pointing in a direction with all of this information. I mean, we even have down to, and this is directly from The Atlantic, our most reliable pandemic number is losing its meaning. From September 13th, David Zweig. And the point is, of this article, and I'm not saying this is the situation with everyone out there, because it's not. But the actual content of the article states that a lot of the COVID hospitalizations are not serious hospitalizations. There are serious hospitalizations. We don't want to minimize those. As I said earlier on the show, we care for everyone out there. We're also realists. And I'm not going to speak for anybody. I'll speak for me, which is this. I'm not immortal. I never will be. I don't want to be. Which means that I also don't get to determine how I go. And when you embrace that, when you understand that, the fear goes away. The fear dissipates. And let me tell you, the last thing If you go back to the first segment of this show, the last thing that hospital administrator who said, and I quote, "We need to be more scary," the last thing that person wants is for you to be unafraid, for you to have no fear. Because when you have no fear,
they can't control you.
Say that again, please, because
they cannot control you.
And when they can't control you, the people who are making the rules have to realize that they work for who?
Us, the general public, the ones that elected them to their position.
And therein lies the greater struggle that has been in play since the dawn of human existence, which is there are those who want to control, and there are those who just want to be left alone. I want to grow my family. I want to live in my community. I want to try and take care of my brother. I don't want the government telling me how to do it. Right? Is it a moral obligation to take care of our brother? It absolutely is. It is not a governmental obligation. The government doesn't get to decide to tell us how to do it. We get to decide how to do it, and we should. And the government doesn't get to make you do it. Therein lies the problem with all of this. Just because we could doesn't mean we should. Gents, y'all seem to be enjoying the weekly whiskey here because y'all are awfully quiet. I see you leaning in. Whenever you're ready to jump in, go ahead.
Fantastic. I mean,
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. But it's more than just the whiskey. It's the company that we are in right now. The whiskey is amazing. The conversation is amazing. I just wish America would wake up right now.
yeah. How are you supposed to love your brother when somebody's telling you to beware of your brother?
Exactly.
He might have COVID. He might get you sick, kill your entire family.
Look, guys, y'all sitting here at this little round table with me, and I am a COVID survivor, and y'all are sitting, 2 feet apart from me?
Well, if it makes you feel any better,
yes,
so am I.
Yeah, exactly. But my issue is y'all have not backed up one bit from me. I feel like we need to embrace our community. We need to embrace our country, but we also need to take our country back. We need to take it back to just like you. For instance, I see the tats on your arm, and I'm not trying to call you out, man. I see Marine, I see the flag, and I also see you're a gunsmith. All of those are things that this country was built on, and I respect you. I see you sitting over here as a equal to me. Okay.
This country was founded on Christian principles, but we developed a military to protect those principles.
Because why do we develop those principles? Because they was
persecution. I mean,
because the only way out was through, which is where we are today.
Today we are right here today, right now. We're going through the same things that they went through with the founders of this country. And the problem is people have forgotten what this country was founded on.
So let's give some, and I'll label this Cavan opinion. If y'all want to chime in, please do. If you think like me, great. If you think differently, I appreciate that too. We are in a situation that is not going to end. There is not going to be the eradication of a virus, right? The reality is we're told we have a vaccine for something that is the basis of the same virus that creates the common cold. So if that's the case, why do we not have a vaccine for the common cold? If that's the case, my point is we're not going to eradicate the common cold. My point is the only way past it is through it. We are never going to go around it.
Can I?
Yeah, absolutely.
How many people have you heard that had the flu this year? Can I ask?
Or even last year.
Or last year.
So statistically, according to the World Health Organization, in 2020, the flu dropped 98%.
Which one? H1N1, swine?
Yes, that's
98%.
But
my
question,
flu B, flu C, which one?
That's exactly what I'm fixing to ask. Is how many of those flu symptoms has flipped over to the COVID symptoms? And I'm just asking because when I had the COVID, I felt like I had the flu major.
So you know what? There are lots of things out there that seem to have been eradicated over the last year or two. One of the things we hope is not eradicated is this show as we take a break and come back with the next segment, because we will be in the Sam Stokes segment, the penultimate segment of Implicit Bias, when we come back on News Talk 96.5. Okay.
Anderson Pest Control is your one-stop shop for residential, commercial, and termite control. We're a Louisiana company with Louisiana hospitality that has the knowledge and expertise to handle all your pest control needs. Anderson Pest Control, we wouldn't put technicians in your house that we wouldn't put in ours.
Way down here in the Bayou State, critters come in every single size and shape. Pick up the phone, don't hesitate. Call Anderson Pest Control today.
Attention Acadiana, have you been to the Rustic Renegade? Acadiana's only true men's emporium. The Rustic Renegade has it all. Special items for that man cave, special coffee blends, unique gifts and grooming items, and best of all, Acadiana's only simulated range where you can shoot not only targets, but you can shoot scenarios. Why spend a fortune on ammunition? You can become better at what you like to do. At the Rustic Renegade, knives, guns, accessories, and the experts to handle it all. That's the Rustic Renegade, 2842 northeast of Angelin Thruway.
Nobody likes to drive around in a grimy ride. Clean that car the Cajun way. Zydeco Ride and Shine Car Wash at 320 Willow and Cajun Car Wash at 510 Lafayette Street in Youngsville are there for you. Our facilities provide you with the best automatic car wash in the Acadiana area. Regulars get a bonus. Buy 3 washes at a location, get the 4th one free. Zydeco Ride and Shine and Cajun Car Wash. Keeping Acadiana's rides clean since 2014.
Hello, my name is Rene Girard. I'm Acadiana's certified master tobacconist. Piper's Haven is at 3916 West Congress Street. We are located between Adrian's and Gilbo Road, and we have thousands of cigars in our 553 square foot humidor. Everything you need to go with your cigars can be found at Piper's Haven at 3916 West Congress Street, including cigar cutters, humidors, lighters, pipes, pipe tobacco, meerschaum pipes, briar pipes, pipe tools, pipe stands, pocket knives, and hunting knives. And we also provide knife sharpening. We also have a complete selection of Lamborghini lamps and scents for that woman that's tired of the smell of cigar smoke. Just buy her something nice, and she will appreciate it a lot more. If you need a place to relax and smoke a cigar, come sit on our porch. Just remember to bring your chair. Piper's Haven at 3916 West Congress between Adrian's and Gilbo Road.
Don't be afraid of your dentist. State-of-the-art, comfortable, and affordable dental care is just minutes away. Dr. Patrick Breesy practices sedation dentistry while providing services including dental implants and cosmetic makeovers. His brand new office in Rain houses the latest in dental technology, so you can have the most pleasant dental experience while receiving the best results. Visit his website at raindentist.com. That's RAYNEDENTIST.com.
Welcome into the Sam Stokes segment, the penultimate segment of Implicit Bias. I'm your host, Cavan Bordelon. The second hour of Implicit Bias brought to you by Piper's Haven, 3916 West Congress, Acadiana's only certified master tobacconist. He's also known as the CWAT, the certified wizard of tobacco, Rene Girard. He can tell you what stick you want, what pipe tobacco you need to go with whatever whiskey you are having that night. Go see Rene. Tell him hi. Also, go see our presenting sponsor, 2842 Northeast of Angelin Thruway, the Rustic Renegade. We have a representative of the Renegade here with us as we record this evening, coming to you on this Saturday morning. He is Mr. Justin Richard. He is the gunsmith in Acadiana. Mr. Richard?
I'm pretty sure I'm the only one. I don't know of any other gunsmiths in Lafayette. There's a few around.
So understand, and look, this is our implicit bias, right? It's what we like because we like it. I don't care if there is, and this is no offense to those who've gone out and gotten it. As far as we're concerned, you are the gunsmith.
Right. In fact, every time we go out in public, I owe my wife a beer because at least 2 or 3 times per occasion, people come up to me like, hey, I know you. You're that guy from so-and-so. I've been around since 2007, and I've met a lot of good folks in Acadiana. It's been a really enjoyable experience. What a life to live. This is a great place to be.
It absolutely is. Speaking of a great place to be, coming from Pineville, Louisiana, and you have to say Pineville. You can't say Pineville. It's not Pineville. No. It's Pineville, Louisiana.
Pineville, Louisiana.
Right. Stacy Stokes, he is the wrench to Mike Trammell's wheel of luxury limo of Lafayette. Stacy, it has been a pleasure to have you here so far for this episode of Implicit Bias.
It's been a pleasure to be here. And actually, when you say Pineville, you say it in such a negative zone. So
I don't mean it as negative.
Let's just say we're from Green Gables, Louisiana. That's outside of
so how about this?
Because when you say Pineville, the people of Acadiana, you know what they associate that
so how
with.
about this? So how about this? Rabbit Hole. Because
Rabbit Hole.
I'm from New Orleans.
You are.
You come to Lafayette.
Correct.
If you say Lafayette,
no,
they know you're not from here.
Exactly.
Right?
Take the bowl of gumbo away from you.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, they do.
Exactly.
Right?
And I think with the people, they will recognize my accent that I'm not from here. But hey, look, they're going to love me anyway.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. They will love you as much as they love Sam Stokes.
Exactly. Because, hey, listen, he is a brother from another mother.
He is. Mr. Sam Stokes of Better Boot Productions, who keeps us on the air. Sam, how are you? This is your segment.
I too am offended of the disgust that you're showing to Pomble.
As you absolutely can't say it correctly.
Disrespect to Pomble.
So let's talk disrespect, because when it comes down to situational morality, right? If everything all of a sudden becomes okay, then nothing is okay. And if nothing is okay, then everything's okay. So my understanding is that we were supposed to support opportunity for females to participate in sports, to do everything. And look, I absolutely do. I support my wife, my daughter. I want equal opportunity for them as every female out there, which is why I take issue with a story that we happened upon from the world of MMA. And I'm not talking MMR vaccine like I mixed up last time. I'm talking about MMA, mixed martial arts, where there is a new fighter who is fighting in the women's category, who apparently just not too long ago was fighting for the United States military special forces, nonetheless. So trained in a very unique way to execute very unique operations as a he. He, at the time, was Special Forces U.S. military. Same genetic makeup, same being, very recently was competing as a female in the world of MMA. And what I will say is this: while I am not afraid, I am also not stupid. This is an individual who was trained in a way that I was not. This is an individual that is probably going to naked choke me pretty easily, no matter how hard I fight. This is an individual who has the genetic disposition to have greater muscle mass, greater height, greater speed, greater physical endurance, larger lungs. I mean, these are things that come with a certain set of genetics. And that is the first win that this person, this human being, accomplished in MMA as a new fighter. Now, if there's a category for that, okay, fine. You're competing against people who want to get in the ring with whatever that decision is. If there's an open class, absolutely. Let's have that open class. But let's not force a young lady who has trained to fight people of the same genetic chromosomes to fight someone of differing genetic chromosomes because they decide they want to fight in a different class. Gentlemen, I know that this got under your skin as maybe some of the other stories got under mine, specifically the first one.
So I got to hand it to her, the female in this fight. That took some balls. I mean, to go up against a man, okay?
And to be fair, it was second round. Correct. It wasn't a first round TKO. It wasn't a first round submission. It was a second round.
To accept the fight initially, like she knew what she was up against. She's like, all right, I'm
fighting a man. Right. I was born a man, right? Am I wrong?
So special forces are trained to thrive in adversity.
And a combat situation.
Not just go in and do it. Thrive.
They're a different breed.
In adversity. SEALs, Rangers, whatever. We got a taste of it in boot camp. I mean, Marines are trained to do that as well. The Crucible was something I recommend everyone should try. It was an interesting experience. So here you are. You got this guy who is now a girl who was trained to thrive in adversity and chaos. All, to paraphrase the article, all 7 billion of his cells and his genetic code makes him superior physically. He's got higher lung capacity, higher bone density, higher muscle mass, and he steps into a ring with a woman.
Correct.
That's
I think the snort there tells us everything we need to know.
Okay,
right?
My take is I have daughters that are athletes. Okay, they are amazing athletes, but they are not male athletes. And
I'm sure
not,
there's women out there that could.
That could. I'm not
that could
taking
whip
anything.
me.
I'm not taking anything away from my daughters. I'm not taking away from any female athlete. However, there's a separation, just like you said, of a male athlete and a female athlete. The lung capacity.
But even more so than that, you have a special forces ranger who was trained to kill, to thrive in adversity and chaos.
And he's going against a
He's
female
going up
that
against
is
a
not.
woman?
There's a lot to this.
Birth certificate. What does it say?
Yeah, well, and not just that. So to your point, I have a daughter who's not an athlete. And I think about the situations that she could be in. I mean, think about where we are as a society. I thought we were supposed to support our females from being abused by men.
Correct.
Right? The last thing I want for my daughter, for my wife, the last thing we should want for any woman is to be abused by a male in their life.
But what do we do? What are we doing allowing these individuals to compete in these events? I'm calling it an event. Am I wrong or not?
No, it's an event.
I understand what you're saying.
Okay, look.
Pick on someone
God
your
don't
own
make
size,
God don't make
right?
mistakes,
You
right?
know?
Am I wrong? Right.
This guy chose to fight a woman.
Correct.
Like, are you going to step down? Dude, you were a Special Forces Army Ranger. Why do you want to fight a woman?
Exactly.
Why don't you fight somebody?
Well, to your point, I'd love to see, and honestly, here's where I kind of lie with this because I am very much a live and let live guy, which is this. You want to fight? Have an open class.
Correct.
Have a class where anybody who wants to jump in says, you know what? It doesn't matter. Man, woman, however you identify, whatever it is, you can fight in this class. And make that person fight in this class, not in a class down. I mean, this is essentially like letting Mike Tyson fight Sugar Ray Leonard in Tyson's prime.
I agree.
Right?
Okay.
And in Tyson's prime, Sugar Ray Leonard was phenomenal. If you were around and you're old like me, you remember watching Sugar
Totally
Ray
agree.
Leonard.
He was amazing. He had moves that. Okay, listen, I own bars in my life, and there's some women that have come into my bars that I would not step in the ring with. I'm just telling you right now. I am a man of a man, and you laugh at. Am I lying?
But Sugar Ray Leonard.
I'm telling you right now. There's certain women in my life. I'm like, I don't think I would do that.
Sugar Ray Leonard.
Sugar Ray Leonard was sweet.
One of those
and
guys.
smooth, but I would not go against him.
Exactly.
But on the same aspect.
Put him in the ring with Mike Tyson.
But okay,
where
on
he can't get away.
On the same aspect, you had Muhammad Ali's daughter. I would not step in the ring with her. Would
Absolutely not. No, look.
I know. I'm a man.
I would, but I know I'd get mine.
I'd get my. You know what? Hand it to me.
But here's the deal. You've got, and I'm trying to figure out how the weight class factored into this, because if you look at these two individuals, she had to know that her competitor was out of weight class.
Correct.
Right? There is no way those two weighed in at the same thing. So it almost makes me wonder.
He got paid regardless.
Or did she get paid?
She got paid
for the fight. It's just a great question to have. We have one more great question about would we, could we, should we? When we come back with our final segment of Implicit Bias right here on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. Use your implicit bias. Mention implicit bias when you call Luxury Limo and save 20% off of your booking. Don't forget, mention implicit bias and save 20% off your booking with Luxury Limo of Lafayette.
The Rustic Renegade is now open on I-49 North in Lafayette. This one-of-a-kind men's boutique features the best brands of firearms alongside rustic furniture and artwork. Head now to the Rustic Renegade, located at 2842 Northeast Evangeline Thruway near Pont de Mouton. While you're there, try some Black Rifle coffee and chat with the expert himself, Caleb Morse. The Rustic Renegade also has Damascus steel knives, hand-carved duck decoys, and much more. Find out more online now at therusticrenegade.com. Don't be afraid of your dentist. State-of-the-art, comfortable, and affordable dental care is just minutes away. Dr. Patrick Breesy practices sedation dentistry while providing services including dental implants and cosmetic makeovers. His brand new office in Rain houses the latest in dental technology, so you can have the most pleasant dental experience while receiving the best results. Visit his website at raindentist.com. That's RAYNEDENTIST.com.
You deserve the healthiest and tastiest steaks available. You deserve Wagyu. Known for its unmatched flavor and marbling, Rosewood Farms raises Texas Wagyu and is only available at a few select locations in Acadiana. Rosewood Ranch's Texas Wagyu has a buttery flavor and is remarkably tender. It is also high in omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids, which are known to fight heart disease, Alzheimer's, and arthritis. As for Rosewood Ranch's Texas Wagyu at Shopines Market, Tooks Meat Market, and Alexander's Market in Baton Rouge, tell them it's your implicit bias. Taste the Wagyu difference with Rosewood Farms Texas Wagyu.
Hello, my name is Rene Girard. I'm Acadiana's certified master tobacconist. Piper's Haven is at 3916 West Congress Street. We are located between Adrian's and Gilbo Road, and we have thousands of cigars in our 553 square foot humidor. Everything you need to go with your cigars can be found at Piper's Haven at 3916 West Congress Street, including cigar cutters, humidors, lighters, pipes, pipe tobacco, meerschaum pipes, briar pipes, pipe tools, pipe stands, pocket knives, and hunting knives, and we also provide knife sharpening. We also have a complete selection of Lamborghini lamps and scents for that woman that's tired of the smell of cigar smoke. Just buy her something nice, and she will appreciate it a lot more. If you need a place to relax and smoke a cigar, come sit on our porch. Just remember to bring your chair. Piper's Haven at 3916 West Congress between Adrian's and Gilbo Road.
Welcome into the final segment this week of Implicit Bias. I'm your host, Cavan Bordelon. As always, the second hour brought to you by Piper's Haven, 3916 West Congress. Go see Renee. Acadiana's only certified master tobacconist has everything you need when it comes to cigars, pipes, knives, Lamborghinis. He's got it all. Just as we have it all here on Implicit Bias. We like to lighten it up with our last segment. We like to ask the question, just because we can, does it mean we should? I'm going to bring you something, and I'm going to bring this to you because, I know this may be a sign of the apocalypse. From CNN, scientists want to resurrect the woolly mammoth. Somebody gave them $15 million. $15 million to make this happen. Really? Really? Didn't we see this movie already?
Yeah, I was going to say. Somebody's going to be the first to make the Jurassic Park.
I was fixing to go there, man, but you beat me to it. But hey, look, man, give me $1 million, and I can make some stuff happen.
So first of all, number one, Michael Crichton wrote Jurassic Park back in the 1990s.
Correct.
And if you've never read the book, please go read the book. It is a fantastic read. But the interesting part about the book that differs from the movie is that in the book, at the very beginning of the book, the dinosaurs had already escaped. It wasn't like they were waiting for them to escape the island. They'd already escaped the island. So that's interesting thing number one, which is kind of just because we can doesn't mean we should. Second of all, Michael Crichton, 40 years ago, much like Isaac Asimov and other science fiction writers, essentially predicted the future. I mean, the reality is, according to this article, right, advances in genetics are making resurrecting lost animals a tangible prospect. Scientists have already cloned endangered animals and can sequence DNA extracted from the bones and carcasses of long dead, extinct animals.
There's a small part of me that would like to see this take place, but there's a bigger part of me that says, don't play God here. Don't test God. I mean, they tried it with the Titanic. I mean, the Beatles did that too, and bad things happened to both.
I agree.
I think you bring up a really interesting concept here, Justin, which is when we start playing God, we're going to mess it up.
Exactly. We're humans.
I mean, the reality is there's only been one, as far as our implicit bias goes, there's only been one perfect human being to walk the face of the earth. One.
Correct.
He died to fix the brokenness that is the rest of us. And none of us are perfect, which means that everything we do,
imperfect.
Correct, is imperfect. So if we attempt to resurrect life,
it will be imperfect.
Ergo, we're gonna mess it up.
What thing has human done that is imperfect is perfect? Think about it for 1 second. Everything we do is imperfect, is it not?
It absolutely is.
I would disagree. To a point, Ed.
I agree.
We create life. My daughter was perfect when she was born.
We did not create that. God created that.
I can see both of that. I mean, look.
Hey, listen, I agree that you did the task and all like that, and you are perfect. However, God created the time for your daughter to be perfect, and He also created the time for you and your wife for that. But you did not create your daughter.
I didn't create perfection. I agree with that.
Okay.
So, again, the hardest part of this is to recognize the duality of what a human being is. There is the spiritual side of us.
Correct.
There is part of all of us that, yes, is perfect. But guess what? That, if you're lucky, is 50%. If you're lucky, the vast majority of us, it's much less than 50.
Correct.
Because there's that whole free will thing that we get inside of there that leaves us to be able to say, hey, I might be able to create an animal that, for all we know, when we create that animal, it might harbor a virus and transmit a virus from a plant to the animal. And I don't know that that's even possible, but you never know, right? The reality is there are things that are unknown to us. We are not all knowing. It might harbor a virus that could wipe out the human race. So let's go ahead and create it. We have no idea. Let's go ahead and mess with that. I mean, it might actually, now this is the upside, it might create a virus that stops human beings from playing soccer.
And Sam will be so upset.
I said that so he would pay attention.
He's bad.
I mean, I'm in the zone, but don't speak that kind of blasphemy.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. The whole point is we like to walk down these roads. A lot of times we like to ask, what if? What if we could? And we like to push the boundaries. Continual improvement is something that human beings a lot of times always strive for. I don't know that it's the godly part of us that strives for continual improvement. I think a lot of times it is one of the 4 P's, as was described to me by a priest. It's that we seek either power, pleasure, possessions, or pride that drive us to continual improvement.
Possessions is a bad thing, if you think about it.
Oh, well, any one of those 4 P's, right? I mean, the reality is I don't desire the power over other human beings. Some people do. Now, there are some people who say, I would like power to be able to liberate people. George Washington wanted power and walked away from it. That is the exception in the human experience, not the rule.
Correct.
Right? Those who say, I want possessions, if you put that above the value of a human being, you will do unspeakable things to human beings for those possessions.
And that has been done in history.
Pleasure, same thing. Pride, maybe the worst of them all.
You become a slave to all of those.
I agree.
Absolutely. And guess what? We probably all are in some way, shape, or form.
I have at certain times. Have you not?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. I am not of the opinion that trying to resurrect a long extinct animal that trying to play Mother Nature, which is the really crazy part there, because we like to think, oh, we should live and be one with nature. Well, if you're one with nature, animals go extinct.
Exactly. Do you believe that humans will come extinct at one time?
Here's the deal. I do not kid myself that I am wise enough to know the answer to that question.
I am too.
It could happen. It might not. Sam, you've been awfully quiet over there in the corner. This has been a deep philosophical episode of Implicit Bias. I'm curious as to your thoughts. Just because we can doesn't mean we should.
I think you're glossing over how cool it would be to have a woolly mammoth.
That's what I was going to say. Something about that. There's obviously money behind this, and there's a whole lot of scientists who probably think they're capable of doing this. So the ultimate question is, what if ... $? Well, there'd be an island with a bunch of mammoth that we can go hunt.
I was about to say, so that's the next question. The next question is, where does someone have a woolly mammoth head and tusks mounted on their wall?
Exactly.
I was looking at like, hey, how much is it going to cost me to hunt this?
You're right. I'm just dangerous game in Alaska.
Yes.
Have you ever shot a woolly?
Yes. How much is it going to cost me to mount this on my wall?
I don't know, 25,000.
Let's do it.
If it's only 25,000, because I've seen whitetail go for more than 25,000. Let's be brutally honest.
Let's be honest.
Okay,
we're talking about $1 million. So I think I would hang this on my wall for a meal. I'm just saying.
And the ivory. Well,
If
you can't
you-
get ivory right now, right?
Well,
Now you
ivory's
can
still
grow it.
illegal. Ivory's still illegal, right?
You can still get mammoth ivory, but what if you can grow new mammoth ivory?
Now all of a sudden, so look, if we can just grow ivory, it's a whole different discussion, right? You're not necessarily talking about a living, breathing creature, but then you get into
grow an entire mammoth to harvest the
okay.
ivory.
So there's the
$, $.
There's the situational morality of then should we grow a small human being to harvest organs?
That's
which is another discussion for another episode of Implicit Bias, because that is 2 hours or more on its own.
Right.
Right?
I'm sure people have already thought about it or tried it.
Tried it? I'm sure they have. Thought about it? I'm sure they have. We hope that you have tried or will try our weekly whiskey, Wyoming whiskey, small batch bourbon whiskey. You can find it at Champagne's Market in the Oil Center. That is our weekly whiskey partner. This, as we go through and have finished our tasting here on Implicit Bias, it's an absolute green. Not necessarily a deep green, but it's an absolute green. You can drink it neat. You can drink it over ice. You can mix it. And at the price point, absolutely worth what you would be looking for. So please go in. Tell Miss Cindy you heard about Wyoming whiskey on Implicit Bias. Find yourself a bottle. Enjoy. Find us on Instagram. Find us on Facebook. We are at Implicit Bias Radio on Instagram and just Implicit Bias on Facebook. It is the microphone with the whiskey glass in the bottom, because that's what we do. We sit down with a bottle of whiskey, have some good conversation with great people. We solve the problems in the world in, about an hour and 20 minutes. Well, you include commercials and everything. It's absolutely an hour and 20 minutes. But that is what we do here on Implicit Bias. We hope that you do it with us. I know, Justin, because there have been conversations. There have been people who've popped in the Renegade and said, yeah, we absolutely sit down at 10 a.m. on Saturday mornings, have a weekly whiskey with you guys, and we like to partake of the conversation and the sampling.
Yep, exactly.
Man, a few words.
Right. I don't know, 10 a.m. for a whiskey is a little early for me, but go for it, please.
Well, as long as you're not overindulging. And look, one of the other things we're going to strive to emphasize here, please make sure you are consuming responsibly.
Correct.
Don't overindulge middle of the day. Please don't get in a car and drive. The only way we want you to get in a car is if you're getting in a car to listen to this episode or another episode of Implicit Bias right here on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. We'll be back next Saturday. Another crew in the Top Secret Podcast layer. Sam Stokes will be here. So will I. Right here on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. Implicit Bias is produced by and copyright of Pipe Dream Entertainment, LLC.
Ladies, we know that man in your life is hard to shop for. That's why you need to go to the Rustic Renegade, Acadiana's only true men's emporium. They have unique gifts for the man in your life, including grooming essentials, special coffees, clothing, items perfect for his man cave, and yes, knives, guns, and accessories. So come on by the Rustic Renegade at 2842 Northeast Evangeline Thruway, just north of Pointe de Mouton, or visit them online at therusticrenegade.com. That's therusticrenegade.com for the man in your life.
Don't be afraid of your dentist. State-of-the-art, comfortable, and affordable dental care is just minutes away. Dr. Patrick Breesy practices sedation dentistry while providing services including dental implants and cosmetic makeovers. His brand new office in Rain houses the latest in dental technology, so you can have the most pleasant dental experience while receiving the best results. Visit his website at raindentist.com. That's RAYNEDENTIST.com.
Anderson Pest Control is your one-stop shop for residential, commercial, and termite control. We're a Louisiana company with Louisiana hospitality that has the knowledge and expertise to handle all your pest control needs. Anderson Pest Control, we wouldn't put technicians in your house that we wouldn't put in ours.
Way down here in the Bayou State, critters come in every single size and shape. Pick up the phone, don't hesitate. Call Anderson Pest Control today.
News Talk 96.5, KPEL.
Be critical for Congress. I'm Pam Huso, Fox News. Lawmakers have a lot of balls in the air. One of them is to keep the government running. The House has passed a temporary spending bill, but the legislation faces an uphill battle in the Senate since it's tied to a measure to raise the debt ceiling. Then there's President Biden's agenda and his desire to spend $3.5 trillion on social programs.
Biden says the massive spending plan will be paid for through tax hikes on wealthy Americans along with corporate America, too. The bill's supporters, most Democrats in Congress, say increased spending on health care, climate, education, and other social safety nets is worth the high cost. Republicans and budget hawks are worried about inflation.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson. A COVID-19 vaccine mandate for teachers in New York City has been temporarily blocked by a federal appeals judge. The mandate was supposed to take effect Monday. The city is confident the mandate will be upheld. A third federal judge has sided with families in Tennessee who favor mask mandates in schools. Last month, Republican Governor Bill Lee issued an order allowing families to opt out of school mask mandates, but 3 federal judges have blocked the order in Knox, Williamson, and Shelby counties. The family of Gabby Petito is preparing for her funeral. A public visitation will be held tomorrow in New York, followed by her funeral Monday. Meantime, her fiancé, a person of interest in her disappearance, is still missing.
Brian Laundrie is now considered a fugitive, wanted on criminal charges. The FBI, of course, announcing an arrest warrant for Brian following a grand jury indictment.
Fox's Charles Watson in Florida, where Laundrie went missing. He's accused of using somebody else's debit card after Petito disappeared. America's listening to Fox News.
Hey, it's Brett Larson, inviting you to download and listen to the new daily Fox on Tech podcast. There's part of a colorful late 90s iMac on Mars. It's an idea that seems a lot like Kickstarter, called Build It. This isn't the first time we've heard about North Korea hackers trying to get a leg up on COVID-19, a range that was used for satellite TV service in the 70s. Get the latest trends in technology, cybersecurity alerts, and gadget news daily. Subscribe and listen now by going to foxnewspodcast.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Connect to Fox News Audio on the Fox News app. Listen to hear your favorite hosts like Brian Kilmeade, Jimmy Fallon, and Guy Benson standing up for what's right, live and via podcast. Just click listen, then swipe right and hear the latest news updates on your time. And scroll down to hear the latest podcasts from Fox News. And it's even easier to listen in the car with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Get programming alerts and notifications. Fox News Audio is on the Fox News app. The voices America trusts. Download it now.
News Talk 96.5, KPEL.
Welcome to Safe Money and Income Radio with your host, Randy Hux. Randy is a former licensed certified public accountant and a licensed life insurance professional in the state of Louisiana, and he specializes in working with people who are looking for safe investments or those who are nearing retirement or already in retirement with wealth management, income planning, and asset protection strategies. And now, here to talk with you about no market risk retirement planning, your host, Randy Hucks.
Thank you for joining me this week. I'm Randy Hucks, host of Safe Money and Income Radio. I specialize in asset and retirement protection and am the owner of Hucks Safe Money Solutions, a no market risk retirement planning company serving Lafayette, Louisiana. Proper planning requires questions and answers. Unfortunately, many times there are bad plans because of a lack of good questions. For example, many of our grandkids these days are being asked what college degree they want to pursue based off their passions and dreams. But shouldn't they also be asked how much money they want to make or need to make financially to survive? Another question to ask is if there will be a job for the degree they are pursuing when they graduate. The consequences of bad questions can be devastating. And we see this with our youth today when they graduate with a useless degree and as much as $200,000 in student loans. Unfortunately, the same question and answer, faulty logic, used for determining a college degree is also used in financial planning for retirement. The most common question asked for investors is, what is your risk tolerance? And the most uncommon question asked is, how much inflation-adjusted income are you going to want or need at retirement? And how are we going to get your income to that amount on a guaranteed payout that you cannot outlive? The what is your risk tolerance question is what we call a pass the buck question. In other words, if you decide what your risk tolerance is, then your financial advisor or planner is off the hook and you are determining the allocations of your investments. It becomes your choice, not the advice of your financial planner. So why do you even pay him or why have you hired him? It also makes you feel like you have a plan when the truth is your entire retirement is still subject to hypothetical and arbitrary strategies. Let me suggest that you might want to consider removing these hypothetical and arbitrary, quote, strategies from your retirement planning. You see, I work with guaranteed solutions that create a plan that you can count on. So give me a call now at 844-350-SAFE. And once we talk, I can determine if we should meet. But first, I must determine if I can significantly help you. Again, my number is 844-350-7233. That's 844-350-7233. Have you ever heard of a safety first retirement plan? This is not a new concept since it was developed back in the 1920s. This retirement plan puts an emphasis on prioritizing the intended goal for retirement rather than arbitrary and subjective investment decisions that leave your plan open-ended to financial risk. For example, one priority everyone should have is a minimum amount of income they should have guaranteed for the rest of their lives. Applying a safety-first strategy would mean that you prioritize your planning so that you have an income floor. For example, let's say that you never want to have less than $80,000 a year in income. In that case, you would add up your Social Security, pensions, annuities, rental income, or any other income that is reasonably guaranteed so that you know that you would have at least $80,000 in income for the rest of your life. And if the income doesn't add up to what you need, the strategy would focus on getting you to that income goal in a way that guarantees success. This strategy is not just for the middle class. In a Newsmax article, Ben Stein, a highly credentialed economist, talked about how he's used annuities to make sure that no matter what happened with his investments, he would never have less than a certain amount of income. In other words, he created a floor with these annuities based on a desired lifestyle that he could never live below. And also, in an ESPN article, championship NBA Lakers basketball player Shaquille O'Neal explains how he did the same thing as Ben Steen. Shaquille is not just known for his basketball fame, but he is a talented and aggressive business investor and entrepreneur. With investment comes risk. So in this article, Shaquille says, and I quote, "My first strategy was how do I get some money coming back to me after I retire if everything goes wrong?" He continues by saying, quote, "Let's say I made $100 million in investments. How do I still get money? The first thing that I did was I went and I got some annuities." This type of thinking is different between what we call if-come planning. In other words, planning that you don't know if it's going to be there when you'll need it, or the alternative, income planning, that is guaranteed, passive, and residual. There are all types of passive, residual, and dependable incomes. My job is to make sure that they all work together to make sure you have an income floor that you can never live below. Some of the plans I work with can grow at guaranteed rates of up to 7% or more for the purpose of receiving guaranteed lifetime income. And once you are ready, you can activate your income payout option that will pay you income for the rest of your life while still having access to liquidity, emergency funds, and a death benefit for your heirs. If you'd like to learn more, call for our complimentary Safe Money and Income book and Safe Money and Income kit at 844-350-SAFE. And let's work together to take income uncertainty out of your retirement so that you can enjoy the golden years without financial stress. Again, our number is 844-350-7233. Since I have to take a break, now would be a great time to call me for your free Safe Money and Income book and Safe Money Information Kit. My number is 844-350-SAFE. That's 844-350-7233. Isn't it time to stop exposing your retirement to market risk? You're listening to Safe Money and Income Radio with Randy Hucks.
How does it feel to have all that money?
Safe Money and Income Radio.
That's great.
Do you own an annuity? Do you understand what it does, how it works, and if it's right for your retirement plan? Some annuities have massive fees with very few benefits. Some annuities are exposed to significant market risk. Worse yet, annuities may even be sold without any respect to your retirement needs. If you own an annuity, it's probably a good idea to find out more about how it works and if it's right for you. It's time to give Randy Hucks a call now at 1-844-350-SAFE. That's 844-350-7233. Randy Hucks will help you review the features and benefits of any annuities you currently own without any obligation. Once again, you can call Randy Hucks now at 1-844-350-SAFE. That's 844-350-7233. Safe, money, and income.
Stock market's where you separate the men from the boys.
You're listening to Safe Money and Income Radio with your host, Randy Hucks.
Welcome back. I'm Randy Hucks, your host of Safe Money and Income Radio. I am a no market risk retirement specialist working with clients right here in Lafayette, Louisiana. So here's a question I'd like to ask all my listeners out there. How much of your money is currently in the market? All of it? 50% of it? 80% of it? Did you or your advisor make a conscious decision to have that particular percentage exposed to market risk? Or did it just sort of happen over time? Why am I asking? Well, as I've said before, the markets go up and the markets go down. The amount of your life savings that is exposed to market risk is a very important consideration. And that's why I strongly encourage everyone to think of their money in terms of red money or green money. These terms may sound a little bit different to you, but I believe they'll help you understand a very important concept. It's a very simple concept. So let me explain. Red money is the money that we're willing to expose to the market risk in hopes of a higher return. And we also accept the possibility of losses, even potentially significant losses, in hopes of greater gains. So red money is exposed to the upside and downside market risk. The green money is about safety and security. With green money, we're not willing to accept the risk of losses, but we are willing to accept a lower return in exchange. Green money does not have the downside market risk. So if red money is exposed to upside and downside market risk and the green money has only upside market potential, which one is better? Well, that's probably the wrong question to be asking, because actually neither one is inherently good or bad. I mean, it all just depends. And a lot of it depends on your circumstances, your age, your resources, the amount of those resources. Here are some very important questions you should ask yourself. What percentage of my money should be in red money? And what percentage should be in green money? You'll never have all your eggs in one basket, but the older we get, the safer we should get. So those percentages should shift over time to green money, starting out at about the ages of somewhere between 40 and 45 years old. Now, if you're at or near retirement, you should also ask yourself if any of your money should be in red money. Can you afford to lose any of your retirement funds? Would you rather take 2 steps forward and 3 steps back, or just take 1 step at a time and never step back? In other words, are you willing to accept a lower return for complete safety? If you'd like to learn how to take a step forward and never take a step backwards, call for my Safe Money and Income book and my Safe Money and Income kit that could change your financial life for the better. Again, our number is 844-350-SAFE. That's 844-350-SAFE. There is no cost or obligation. Let me tell you what I believe red money is good for. It's good for the young and for the rich. The young have time on their side and can afford to lose money in hopes that they will make it back in the future. That was me. Unfortunately, I didn't make it all back, though. So how do we define young? That is relative. But as a general rule, it's anybody younger than about age 45. Now, the rich can afford to at least lose some of their money and still live comfortably. And by rich, I mean those people who have adequate green money to guarantee they will always have the income they need and never outlive it, and still have money left over for red money. So if you're at or near retirement, you should definitely be in the green, which is money that cannot be lost due to market declines. You know, many people believe that all retirement money should be green money. Personally, I think it makes a lot of sense. You know, many people I work with, regardless of the age, want 100% green money because they know they can have upside market participation without accepting any downside market risk. So isn't it time for you to go green with your retirement? Give me a call at 844-350-SAFE, and I'll show you how to do that. Not only can you have some upside growth linked to the markets without any downside market risk, But you can get a first-year bonus of up to 8% or more on all your money just for opening the account. You can also lock in guaranteed growth of up to 7% or more of the lifetime income account. How about that? No downside market risk, a bonus, and guaranteed growth on the lifetime income account of up to 7% or more per year. Call 844-350-SAFE. That's 844-350-SAFE, and we'll arrange to show you how that works. Over the years, what we've learned is that having green money provides an enormous benefit, a tremendous sense of comfort and relief for the person making the decision. Think about it. The worry goes away. Just think about this for a minute. If you have red money losses and get upset about it, probably the money should never been in red money in the first place. So this makes it easy to decide. You just got to ask yourself this question. If I were to lose some, most, or even all of my money, would I be upset? If the answer is yes to your question, then your money should be in a green money account. Now, you may be asking yourself, what green money options are there other than cash, checking, savings accounts, bank CDs? That's where I get to help you and show you another option. So call me at 844-350-SAFE and ask specifically for your free Safe Money and Income Kit, and we'll show you some exciting options. You'll learn about green money option that has upside market potential and is not exposed to market risk, that comes with upfront bonuses of 8% or more, and has a minimum guaranteed income account growth of up to 7% or more a year for up to 20 years. Call 844-350-SAFE right now and also ask for your free Safe Money and Income book with all this information. I strongly believe that we face some very difficult times in our financial markets in the future. With politics, our national debt growing, tremendous volatility, corruption, global economies, and the potential of outbreak of war, there are many, many things for us to worry about. The more time I spend with clients focusing on green money options, the more my clients get to sleep at night without worry and stress of all these matters. As has always been said, hindsight is 20/20. So looking ahead and making wise choices to protect our retirement savings requires an understanding that waiting to make a decision is an invitation to loss and regret. So do not wait any longer. If I can show you how to convert some of your current retirement savings into green money where it would never lose value due to market declines, and you'd be able to realize gains from the market, would that make sense? Well, if so, call me at 844-350-SAFE. That's 844-350-SAFE. Since I have to take a break, now would be a great time to call me for your free Safe Money and Income book and Safe Money and Income information kit. My number is 844-350-SAFE. That's 844-350-SAFE. Isn't it time to stop exposing your retirement to market risk? You're listening to Safe Money and Income Radio with Randy Hucks.
There is nothing quite as wonderful as money.
Safe money
There is nothing quite as beautiful as cash.
and income.
We've got to have money.
CDs, money market accounts, and checking or savings accounts seem to be the way the banks give us the short end of the stick these days. If you have your money in a bank account, you might even be losing money because of inflation. Don't let low interest rates get you down. How would you like tax-deferred growth that's much higher than CDs with liquidity on a short-term account? Have you ever heard of triple compounding? You can get interest on interest, interest on principal, and interest on the taxes you would normally have to pay if your money was in a bank account. Don't let the bank give you low rates while taking your money to issue credit cards with 18% interest rates or more. Call us now for short-term money solutions at 1-844-350-SAFE. That's 844 350-7233. Fixed annuities are backed up by the claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company and are not FDIC insured. Safe.
You know what I want.
Money.
You know what I need.
And income.
Give me money, give me money, give me money. Give me some money.
You're listening to Safe Money and Income Radio with your host, Randy Hux.
Welcome back. I'm Randy Hux, your host of Safe Money and Income Radio. I'm a no market risk retirement specialist working with clients right here in Lafayette, Louisiana. Wouldn't it be nice if just once in your life you could know about something bad that was going to happen before it actually happened? Just think how different our lives would be. Market corruption, terrorist attacks, and all of the ills of this world would never be a problem because we could always stay one step ahead. Unfortunately, the world we live in is very different than the ideal. And when we wake up in the morning, we never know what the day has in store for us. Fortunately, the unexpected can be planned for financially with no market risk strategies that lock in market gains and never, and I mean never, experience market losses. I want you to dwell on this point. No matter what you see on the news any day of your life, and no matter how bad Wall Street responds to the news, your account will never go backwards due to market declines. If the market performs, you have the opportunity for gains. If the market crashes, then your money doesn't participate in the losses. You can even get up to 8% or more bonus for opening a Safe Money account today. So give me a call anytime at 844-350-SAFE. That's 844-350-7233. Someone's available to answer your calls now or any day of the week. Make sure and mention that you'd like a free copy of my 115-page Safe Money and Income book. It's an insider's guide to no market risk retirement strategies that will show you how to protect your money from fees and market downturns. I'm sure, just like me, that you honor our soldiers and their service to our country. My daughter is one of them. It is their sacrifice that gives us the privilege to even talk about the options of retirement, safety, and security. Without a safe country, it would be impossible to find a safe haven for our money. But that being said, let me tell you a story of a noble soldier that I once heard. This soldier had the mindset that fighting with a gun lacked honor and chose only to fight with his knife. He was honorable and brave and highly skilled in all types of fighting and all types of weapons. Yet he still persisted in only using his knife in the battle. Unfortunately, his enemies didn't participate in his ideals, and even though this soldier fought valiantly, he died in battle. The moral of the story is that good intentions don't win battles, and if you bring a knife to a gunfight, you're defeated well before the fight even begins. So good intentions must be matched by the right equipment to complete the mission. Let me ask you, is your retirement suffering from bad equipment choices? Your investment advisor might have very good intentions, but if he or she is using the wrong tools to keep your money safe, then your retirement may very well be destined to die in battle. Risky investments should be retirement tools that are mostly used for the young or extremely wealthy. It is too often that they are used for those that are in or approaching retirement that cannot afford to lose their money. That's about 95% of those that are in those two categories. And also, just because your advisor tells you it's safe, that doesn't make it true. Unfortunately, many investments such as bonds, gold, and variable annuities are often advertised as safe, even though they are far from being safe and far from being free from market risk. So don't let your retirement due to poor equipment choices. You need to consider no market risk strategies for the very dangerous times we live in. No market risk planning can provide protection from volatile markets and even provide guaranteed growth of up to 7% or more in income accounts that will provide you with an income that you can never outlive. Do you want the right equipment for your retirement? If so, call me now at 844-350-SAFE. That's 844-350-7233 for a free copy of my 115-page Safe Money and Income book and my customized Safe Money and Income kit. How would you like a first-year return of up to 8% or more with 100% guaranteed safety from market declines and no taxes while your money compounds for a bright future? I can even show you a way to completely eliminate the annual, quarterly, and monthly fees that are normally charged with these retirement accounts when they're managed. Once again, my number is 844-350-SAFE. That's 844-350-7233. Well, I'm about out of time, and I would like to thank you for listening to Safe Money and Income Radio. And if you're serious about your financial future, give me a call, and together we'll get your retirement savings on the fast track to growth without market risk. Thanks for listening, and until next week at the same time, I'm Randy Hucks, reminding you to stay safe so you can step into a secure future.
You've been listening to Safe Money and Income Radio with your host, Randy Hucks. Find out how to guarantee that your hard-earned money is safe with locked-in returns and never going down due to market risk, so you can have the future that you deserve. Call Randy Hucks now for your free Safe Money and Income book and Safe Money and Income kit at 1-844-350-SAFE. That's 844-350-7233. The preceding information does not represent tax, legal, or investment advice. Surrender charges apply to base annuity contracts. Optional lifetime income benefit riders are used to calculate lifetime payments only and are not available for cash surrender or in a death benefit unless specified in the annuity contract. Fees may apply. Annuity guarantees are based on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the insurance company. No information presented today should be acted upon without meeting with a qualified and licensed professional. Obviously, by calling us now, you're just taking the first step towards protecting your retirement. It is important that you read all insurance contract disclosures carefully before making a purchase decision. Rates and returns mentioned on this program may vary based on state availability and are subject to change without notice.
KPEL covers Acadiana with Lowry's Printing and Copying.
The Lafayette Professional Firefighters Association, along with the Youngsville Professional Firefighters, will be hosting a benefit golf tournament on October 29, 2021 at Cane Row Golf Club, located at 500 Darby Lane in New Iberia, to assist one of their brothers, Alex Bork, who is battling bone cancer. Check-in for the tournament will begin at 7 a.m. If you have any questions about the tournament or if you'd like to register, you can call 337-852-9314 for more information.
If you or your organization has an event that you would like to get on the KPEL community calendar, email it to news@kpel965.com. That's news@kpel965.com.
Welcome to Safe Money and Income Radio with your host, Randy Hucks. Randy is a former licensed certified public accountant and a licensed life insurance professional in the state of Louisiana, and he specializes in working with people who are looking for safe investments or those who are nearing retirement or already in retirement with wealth management, income planning, and asset protection strategies. And now, here to talk with you about no market risk retirement planning, your host, Randy Hucks.
Thank you for joining me this week. I'm Randy Hucks, host of Safe Money and Income Radio. I specialize in asset and retirement protection and am the owner of Hucks Safe Money Solutions, a no-market risk retirement planning company serving Lafayette, Louisiana. In 1988, Bobby McFerrin released his song, Don't Worry, Be Happy, which reached number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart. I'm sure you guys all remember it. Not only was this song catchy, but it would bring a smile to just about anybody who listened to it. Unfortunately, for many of our seniors today, a song telling them not to worry isn't going to help the reality of the problems they face with planning for income, guaranteeing that their retirement money is 100% safe and that their long-term care needs are being met, and living a happy life in what should be the golden years. Singing a song is easy, and unfortunately, that is what many in the financial planning industry are really good at. If you are tired of getting the same old song and dance telling you that you have nothing to worry about when your gut is telling you that something is not right, then maybe it's time to turn off the music and start dealing with reality. I specialize in making sure that the golden years are golden by focusing on strategies that guarantee growth, minimize or completely remove fees that are deducted from your account values, and provide the option of guaranteeing income that you can never outlive. Additionally, we focus on long-term care needs, tax efficiency, and leaving a legacy based on making sure that you don't have to be dependent on anybody, especially your family members in your final years. I'm not just going to tell you not to worry. I'm going to show you, based on contractual guarantees, that you don't have to worry about market losses or outliving your retirement funds. So give me a call now at 844-350-SAFE. And once we talk, I can help determine if we should meet. But first, I must determine if I can significantly help you. My number is 844-350-7233. That's 844-350-7233. In July of 2012, Time magazine published an article titled Lifetime Income Stream, Key to Retirement Happiness. And in this article, it showed that people in England and North America were happiest in retirement if they had pension income that they could rely on. In other words, if they had guaranteed income from a pension, they were happier than if they were living from their retirement savings. And in 2018, a guaranteed lifetime income study was conducted by the research firms of Greenwald and Associates and Canex, asking individuals between the ages of 55 and 75 with household assets of at least $100,000 about the value of guaranteed income. This study was repeated conclusively in 2019. And the study concluded that 66% of retirees see a high value in guaranteed income in addition to Social Security. It also showed that the majority worry less and are happier when they have guaranteed income. This begs the question, why are so many retirees invested in things where the outcome is hypothetical, not guaranteed, based on arbitrary and subjective assumptions, and exposed to significant market risk? I believe much of it has to do with ignorance and conflicts of interest. There is an entire industry of, quote, advisors and financial planners that want to get paid trail commissions every year their clients make money or even when they lose it. They want to charge high fees that come directly out of their clients' accounts while keeping their clients ignorant of low-cost alternatives that provide guaranteed growth for the purpose of lifetime income and a guaranteed income that cannot be outlived. I'm sorry if that sounds harsh, but unfortunately, all too often, it is the truth. And I'm here to tell you about an alternative retirement plan where your money can grow at guaranteed rates of up to 7% or more for the purpose of receiving guaranteed lifetime income. Once you're ready, you can activate your income payout option that will pay you income for the rest of your life while still having access to liquidity, emergency funds, and a death benefit for your heirs. So if you'd like to learn more, Call for our complimentary Safe Money and Income book and Safe Money and Income kit at 844-350-SAFE. And let's work together to take income uncertainty out of retirement so that you can enjoy the golden years without financial stress. Again, our number is 844-350-7233. This is Randy Hucks, your host of Safe Money and Income Radio, and I'll be right back after this informative message.
Do you think the market is going up or going down? Or is that even the right question to be asking? Here's a better question. When the market goes up, do you get to lock in your gains? What if you never had to worry about the market going up or down? Here's another question. Do you have a guaranteed plan to never outlive your retirement money? What if the market crashes at the same time you need to start using your money for retirement? Taking withdrawals from your retirement account can have devastating consequences. Our Safe Money book and Safe Money information kit can show you how to avoid market risk and guarantee a lifetime of income. So pick up the phone and call us now at 1-844-350-SAFE. That's 844-350-7233. Now back to more Safe Money and Income Radio with your host, Randy Hucks.
Welcome back to Safe Money and Income Radio. I'm Randy Hucks, a Safe Money retirement specialist. How nice would it be to never worry about losing any of your retirement money? Many of you might be thinking, I don't have to worry about my retirement money. But deep inside, you know those are famous last words, because 97% of America is one market crash away from their retirement plans being permanently changed. Don't let your retirement be a victim of the randomness of market timing. My clients have worked 30, 40, even 50 years to get where they are, and their money is now guaranteed to never lose a penny due to market risk. You know, unfortunately, I meet people every week that have waited too long to call me. They thought the market would just keep on going. But here's another guarantee. The market never, and I mean never, keeps going up. It goes up and it goes down, and you can be as sure of that as death and taxes, just as sure as this sun is coming up tomorrow morning, and it's going to go down tonight. And as a reminder, we're close to all-time highs in the stock market. Wouldn't it make sense to take some of it off the table and keep it 100% safe from market losses while earning market-like returns? That's just common sense. So call me now for my Safe Money and Income kit. These free materials will show you how you can take advantage of stock market gains by locking in the upside of the market while never participating in market downturns. While supplies last, I'll also be giving away my Safe Money and Income book. It's a 115-page book that shows you how to put your retirement on autopilot while avoiding high fees. My phone number is 844-350-SAFE. Some of our lifetime income accounts are now paying up to 8% or more signing bonuses and up to 7% or more in compounded interest. And they have a guaranteed income for life. In other words, you can never outlive your retirement money. So call now at 844-350-SAFE. Speaking of income, I need to share with you a huge misconception about how people think of a retirement. Many people have been taught by educators and financial planners to think of their income as a pile of money. For example, you may have $100,000 in your retirement account right now, and you may be thinking that in order to retire, you need $500,000. I don't know what your numbers are. Make them up. Pick a number. But I have to tell you that this type of thinking ruins more people's retirement than our volatile stock market and all of the scam artists combined. You know, retirement is not about how big your account is. It's about how much income you have. I know people that have very little in their retirement accounts, And I know that's all relative as to what's little and what's big. But they are living very comfortably in their golden years with what they have. So how do they do that? Well, it's called passive residual income. And passive residual income is money that comes to you every single month, regardless of how much money you have in your bank or your ability to work. It comes from not thinking of your money as an account value, but rather as an income value. I know that some of you listening have commercial or residential property that you rent out that pays you a positive cash flow every single month. Some people around here especially have oil wells that pay monthly royalties. Then there are those of you who have become my clients. Over the years, I have shown my clients how to take their IRAs, their 401ks, any other retirement account, a variable annuity account, and turn these accounts into passive income accounts and save money while doing it on fees. These income accounts grow until you're ready to retire, and then they convert that money into passive residual income so that they can enjoy it for the rest of their lives, knowing they will never outlive their money. My customized Safe Money and Income Kit will help you to change the way you think about your retirement. And this information is just one quick call away. My number is 844-350-SAFE. Your broker may be telling you right now that the market risk is good and the market's doing fine and that he can help you manage that risk. And in my Safe Money and Income book, I debunk all of the investment world's double talk and show you how taking charge of your retirement is the best way to being free from fees and market risk. Call me now for your free, no obligation copy of my Safe Money and Income book at 844-350-SAFE. Did you know that another way to get residual income is to manage people's money and charge them fees? That's right. Your broker or advisor gets paid month after month, even if you lose your money. That's also residual income. My Safe Money and Income Kit shows you how to set your retirement on autopilot and keep these fees from eating away at your hard-earned money. Once again, my number is 844-350-SAFE. You should know that I do not get any of your money. The highly rated companies that I work with pay me directly, and 100% of your money that you invest goes to work for you on day one, unlike some brokers and advisors. Why go backwards when you can always go forwards? Why risk taking losses when you never have to? Do you remember as a child playing with dominoes? And you remember stacking them up side by side, sometimes spending hours to get them lined up perfectly? I remember having my entire family room floor covered with those little black blocks that were just waiting for the moment when all of my hard work, attention to details, persistence, and dedication, when it would all pay off. And I remember having a master plan that could only result in the pleasure of seeing my accomplishment pay off as I tipped my final domino over. How great it would be to see all of them fall in the perfect order just as I had planned. I think you know where I'm headed with this, right? Now back to reality. About halfway through building my work of art, somebody, my younger brother or sister, family pet, what have you, would prematurely destroy my elaborate plans of building these dominoes by kicking over my dominoes. It's kind of similar to a retirement account being exposed to stock market risk. Many brokers and financial planners, they use elaborate, expensive software programs to show you how your money invested with them will build a retirement that you can count on. And many companies tell you to put your money into 401ks, and by the time you're 65, everything will work out. That's a lie. You now have all your dominoes in a row, though, right? All you have to do is trust in what you've built, your stocks, your bonds, your mutual funds, even variable annuities. But then unexpectedly, your stack gets knocked down and you are not in control of tipping over your own stack that you work so hard to build. You know, many pre-retirees and retirees were thinking just that in 1982, 86, 1990, 98, certainly 2000, 2002, and even who can forget 2008. These are all years not too long ago when the stock market decided to kick over retirement plans. So how would you like to have dominoes that never fall down until you're ready to knock them down? Aren't you tired of starting your retirement plans over? Maybe you haven't had to do that yet. The market's doing really good right now, but you might. Aren't you tired of taking one step forward and then two steps back? Isn't it time to discover no market risk retirement strategies? Call me now and I can show you how to keep your retirement safe. I'll give you free of charge a copy of my Safe Money and Income book and a Safe Money and Income kit. Call 844-350-SAFE. That's 844-350-SAFE. Well, I have to take a short break. This is Randy Hux, and you're listening to Safe Money and Income Radio. Let's pause for some exciting announcements.
Safe money, and income.
The vast majority of stocks will go down.
Do you own a variable annuity? Do you understand what it does, how it works, and if it's right for your retirement plan? Variable annuities can have massive fees with benefits that rarely justify the expense. Variable annuity equity subaccounts are exposed to significant market risk, which means that you can lose your principal interest. Variable annuities may even be sold in ways that may not be suitable for their owners. If you own a variable annuity, it's probably a good idea to find out more about how it works and if it's right for you. It's time to give Randy Hux a call now at 1-844-350-SAFE. That's 844-350-7233. Randy Hux will help you review the features and benefits of any annuities you currently own without any obligation. Once again, you can call Randy Hux now at 1-844-350-SAFE. That's 844-350-7233. Now back to more Safe Money and Income Radio with your host, Randy Hux.
Thank you for tuning in to Safe Money and Income Radio. I'm Randy Hux, a no market risk retirement and asset protection specialist. Surely you remember what Albert Einstein said the definition of insanity is. You know, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. From the moment you started investing, whether you were fresh out of high school or college, it became very apparent probably that the markets go up and the markets go down. You've seen it over and over again, and that every few years the market crashes, and sometimes it crashes hard. For most of your life, you really didn't care. In fact, if you're like me, I wanted the market to crash back in my younger years. Why? Because it was a buying opportunity. Besides, I knew the market would recover, and I was young enough that I wasn't going to use my money anytime soon. Well, things are a lot different now. I think the markets have fundamentally changed in the last 20 years. The closer I get to retirement, the less cavalier I get towards my retirement money. The more I realize I have very little or no time to recover from major market corrections. You know, Mark Twain once said, I'm not so interested in the return on my money as the return of my money. This quote is true today as it was back then. The corruption, uncertainty, and the ups and downs of the market have not gone away. Are you interested more in the return of your money than you once were? What if we could do more than that? Give us a call at 844-350-SAFE. That's 844-350-SAFE. We have a free Safe Money and Income book available that I'd love to give to you. What if you could have a lifetime of income you could never outlive and guaranteed growth for that purpose? How about up to an 8% or more bonus on your money and up to 7% or more compounded growth? In 10 years, your lifetime income account would be guaranteed to more than double. Does this sound different than what you're being told by the financial shows and the brokers? If so, that's because it is different. It's different because we keep you from doing something insane with your retirement. You know, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. The truth is that nothing has changed. Your portfolio was at risk when you were 25 years old, just as much as it is at risk today. So what's the difference? Your age, your time period for recovery. What makes putting your retirement money in the stock market, in bonds, real estate, variable annuities, or any other variable investment so crazy is that you're doing the same thing over and over again, and you're expecting different results. The results will not be different. Your investments will go up and your investments will crash. What is different is that now it can happen when you are at or near retirement at the same time you need your money. If you are at or near retirement, it is time to stop the insanity and look at the option that is appropriate for retirement goals. So call 844-350-SAFE. That's 844-350-SAFE. Our Safe Money and Income book and our Safe Money and Income kit will help you separate out all of the crazy advice you might be hearing and replace it with good, sound information. Ask about our Income Maximizer program when you call, where you can get up to 8% or more bonus on your deposit and up to 7% or more compounded growth and a lifetime of income that you cannot outlive. That's 844-350-SAFE, 844-350-SAFE. So here's something crazy. Have you ever heard of something called a financial illustration? You probably have and just don't know it. When you go and see a financial planner, advisor, broker that's in the business of risking your money, they might use their computer software to run examples of what could happen to your money. Sometimes these examples are based on historical data, and sometimes they're just flat out hysterical. I had a client the other day that showed me an illustration from their broker that demonstrated what would happen to their money if it continued to grow over the next 10 years at 12% compounded growth. Where do financial planners get the nerve to even print that on paper? Nobody makes it 12% a year. What is even crazier is that I've never seen an illustration from one of these brokers that shows what would happen to a client's money if they woke up one day and 30, 40, 50% of it's gone. Why not? I mean, couldn't that happen? You bet it can. And in fact, some of you today might be in that very situation. It's so easy for financial salespeople to show you the best possible results and then, just to be fair, show you some moderate losses on these illustrations. I think every financial professional should be required to show their prospective clients what the worst results have been from the clients they manage. Let me ask you, if you were thinking about working with a financial planner and you found out that they had lost 50% in 1 year of a client's retirement funds, would you want to work with them? Of course not. What if it was only 40%? How about 30%? Well, it happened. It happened in 2008, and it will happen again. Now that I brought it up, you're probably thinking that very same question about me. Have I lost any of my clients' money? Well, when I put my clients in these risk-free accounts, the answer is 100% positive no. Not a single penny of my compensation even comes out of your money, but also not a single penny of your money can ever be lost due to market declines. 100% of your money will start to work for you on day one, and it'll never go backwards due to market conditions. My Safe Money and Income book and Safe Money and Income kit will tell you all about it. Just call 844-350-SAFE for your free information. That's 844-350-SAFE. Well, I'm about out of time, and I would like to thank you for listening to Safe Money and Income Radio. And if you're serious about your financial future, give me a call, and together we'll get your retirement savings on the fast track to growth without market risk. Thanks for listening, and until next week at the same time, I'm Randy Hucks, reminding you to stay safe so you can step into a secure future.
You've been listening to Safe Money and Income Radio with your host, Randy Hucks. Find out how to guarantee that your hard-earned money is safe with locked-in returns and never going down due to market risk, so you can have the future that you deserve. Call Randy Hucks now for your free Safe Money and Income book and Safe Money and Income kit at 1-844-350-SAFE. That's 844-350-7233. The preceding information does not represent tax, legal, or investment advice. Surrender charges apply to base annuity contracts. Optional lifetime income benefit riders are used to calculate lifetime payments only and are not available for cash surrender or in a death benefit unless specified in the annuity contract. Fees may apply. Annuity guarantees are based on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the insurance company. No information presented today should be acted upon without meeting with a qualified and licensed professional. Obviously, by calling us now, you're just taking the first step towards protecting your retirement. It is important that you read all insurance contract disclosures carefully before making a purchase decision. Rates and returns mentioned on this program may vary based on state availability and are subject to change without notice.
News Talk 96.5, KPEL.
You're listening to My Home in Acadiana, the Dan Bongino Show, News Talk 96.5, KPEL.
Hey guys, time to get in on the action for the biggest moments in basketball with Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projections, place your entry, and win up to 100 times your money. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit of up to $100. Just download the Prize Picks app and use the code GET100. That's code GET100 on Prize Picks for a first deposit match of up to $100. Prize Picks. Pick more. Pick less. It's that easy.